Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio, where we break down the best hair metal albums from the 80s and the 90s. So grab that volume knob, crank it up, and enjoy the show.
Showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster, holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
What is going on, everybody?
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
I do Skid Row every night.
Oh, shit.
That's a direct quote from Sebastian Bach, by the way.
That's fucking awesome.
You could read that in so many different ways.
So I was talking to my mother today. My mother's like from Woodstock and everything, and like ran around with like a really crazy crowd, you know, with my dad and everything. So we're on the phone and she's like, so I was looking up like Jimi Hendrix last night. She goes, you know, I met Jimi Hendrix. He wanted me and one of my friends to sleep with him. I was like,
Your mom?
Yeah, my mom. I was like,
Nice.
all right, okay, whatever. Yeah. So
Why didn't you do it, Mom?
Maybe she did. Uncle Jimmy. Dave, so rumor has it you broke a high E string on stage last night. Would you like to talk about it?
I sure did. I'm completely traumatized. And
Okay.
busted a string. It's all right.
No
I have
one
spares.
noticed. No, everyone was like, wow, man, you were awesome. And he was like,
Dave's like, imagine what I could have done with six strings.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. As always, the mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, where can the listeners find this wonderful podcast?
You can find us on the internet, almost anywhere you get your podcasts. Please like and subscribe and rate the podcast if you can. On Instagram, you can find us at VVR Podcast Insta. That's VVR Podcast Insta, INSTA. On Facebook, you can find us at Violent Vinyl Podcast.
All right. Tonight, we will be discussing Skid Row, the debut studio album by Skid Row, produced by Michael Wagner, released on January 24th of 1989 on Atlantic Records. The album peaked at the number 6 spot on the US Billboard 200. I thought this would be a number 1 for sure, but it did get to number 6 in. That is pretty good. The band's lineup was as follows. The great Sebastian Bach on lead vocals, Dave Sabo on guitar and backing vocals, Scotty Hill, guitar, backing vocals, Rachel Bowen, bass, backing vocals, and Rob Afuso on drums and percussion. So yeah, there it is. That was Skid Row in 1989. Hottest band in the land. This album dropped. It was fucking nuclear. It was unbelievable. The album definitely has some spots on it that maybe would not fly in today's market, but that's fine. That's fine. Sebastian also made some questionable fashion statements back in 1989, but hey, it was a different time, right? Let's do some facts on this one. Dave, what do you got on Skid Row?
Oh, we got some facts.
Oh, boy.
Number 1. Skid Row was formed in 1986 in Toms River, New Jersey. Woot woot!
Nice.
By bassist Rachel Bowen and guitarist Dave Sabo. A Spin magazine article from December 1989 states that guitarist Scotty Hill and drummer Rob Afuso were recruited through newspaper ads. I don't think that's true.
Hang on, Dave. Dave, can I just stop you quickly? Because before doing this show, I always thought this was kind of like a boys band from the 90s, 2000s. Like I thought this was put together by like Bon Jovi and the studio, the label. Like they just made this super band. So it kind of like surprised me to hear you say that this was done through like newspaper ads and like organically, because this does not feel like an organic band to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, these were local guys mostly.
Wow.
In a 2020 interview with RewindItMagazine.com, Rachel says that he was in a band called Godsend with Scotty before Skid Row. So these guys played in bands, mixed and matched, just like all the other bands, and eventually came together.
Cool.
Dave the Snake grew up in Sayreville, New Jersey, and was teenage pals with John Bon Jovi. He'd hang out to see the show when John's band was playing at the Fast Lane Club in Asbury Park. Nice. And was nearly the guitarist for Bon Jovi before Richie Sambora came into the picture. They had a handshake deal promising each other that whoever made it first would help the other get there too. He also auditioned for a still unsigned Cinderella, eventually losing out to guitarist Jeff LeBar. Rest in peace, Jeff.
Rest in peace.
He was later quoted as saying that was the kick in the ass that I needed to start putting Skid Row together.
Yeah, he did fine.
Yeah, he made out all right.
He did okay.
Number 3, Dave taught guitar at Garden State Music Center in Toms River, New Jersey. According to Rachel's interview, there was a time where Dave, Rachel, and Scotty all worked there. Another big name that was a customer of the shop was Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Zakk Wylde.
Oh, cool.
I remember reading about all this in a guitar magazine in the 80s. So being not too far away, as I was at that time as a teenager, I had to stop in and check out the shop. These guys were already famous at that point, so it's not like they were going to be hanging out there, but I had to go see it for kicks anyway. From what I remember, looked like any other music store, but it was pretty cool. It's actually still there today, 1861 Hooper Ave in Toms River, New Jersey, GardenStateMusic.com.
Dave, I've watched some YouTube videos of Zakk Wylde back when he was like, 19, 20, 21 down there in Jersey playing like local shows. Like it's just a little dude with like local dudes. He was fucking always cool and always ripped. Like, it's like, fuck yeah, Zakk Wylde. Go Zakk.
Yeah, before he went full caveman.
He
was in like a cover band. I think it was called Zymox or something like that before he got the Ozzy gig. But yeah,
I've seen him jamming in front of like strip malls and stuff, like that kind of thing. Like killer. Like
ridiculous. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that video. Yeah.
Okay.
Skid Row's original singer was a guy named Matt Fallon, who had previously been in a band with Snake called Steel Fortune. Great band name, by the way.
I'm sure he was better than Sebastian.
Have you heard him?
No, I haven't, but I know he's not as good as Sebastian.
Okay, so there's a lot of demos out there of Skid Row with Matt Fallon singing.
Okay.
I would say he sounds a lot like Mark Slaughter.
Oh, yuck.
It's okay, but it's not like super like like they wouldn't have blown up if they had stayed with him.
It's not pro level.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, him and Snake were in Steel Fortune, and according to Wikipedia, Steel Fortune and Anthrax were both on the bill when Metallica came to Sayreville, New Jersey in 1983 to promote the release of their first album. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally.
That was later recruited by Anthrax, but later quit and was replaced by Joey Belladonna. So now he's replaced by two different famous singers.
Jesus.
Yeah. In 86, he joined Skid Row. According to the Spin magazine article, in 1987, this version of the band, before they had their record deal, opened for Bon Jovi in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on their Slippery When Wet tour. According to a Metal Edge article, it was Scotty's first gig with Skid Row. Bon Jovi manager and future Skid Row manager, Doc McGee, recommended they ditch that lead singer.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So Sebastian Bach came from the Toronto, Canada rock scene, where he was buddies with throb singer Ronnie Sweetheart, mentioned in the Spin magazine article. Shout out to Ronnie. Sebastian was already becoming known for singing in Kid Wicked, and then another great name.
There are some great videos on YouTube of him with Kid Wicked and running his mouth and his big giant teased hair that are fabulous.
Looking insane in that band.
Fabulous.
And he was also with the Detroit-based band Madam X. Bach was spotted singing at rock photographer Mark Weiss's wedding with Zakk Wylde on guitar. Check out Mark Weiss's YouTube channel for a video. Spotted by John Bon Jovi's parents, who recommended him to Skid Row.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's their fault. It's the Bon Jovi's fault.
Wait. So we're gonna credit Mr. and Mrs. Bon Jovi with the discovering of Sebastian Bach.
Pretty much.
So wait, but there's a controversial story about that too, right? Because he does say that he met Bon Jovi's parents at the wedding, and that's kind of the final nail that put him in the band. But he also claims to have 3 months prior to that to have been sent a copy of the original demo. This is the Matt Fallon demo in the mail as a band that he may want to join, and he put it on a shelf, and then realized later realized later that this was the same band, and he thought it was like meant to be. So.
Lisa, were any of the big three on that demo?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So he popped that in after a month or two.
It was the whole lineup with the exception of the singer. Yeah.
Oh, no. I meant any of the big three hits off this album. 18.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Pretty much all of, we'll talk about it a little bit, but pretty much the entire album, 98% of it was written before Sebastian joined the band.
Oh, shit. So he dusted that demo off and listened to it. It was like, oh, fuck. He like grabbed the phone. Like, let's do this.
They have some comments about what his, what he gave to the album, and it wasn't nothing, but the songs pre-existed him.
It was everything. Without Sebastian Bach, this album was forgotten and blew away in the wind somewhere. Like, that's it. We all saw 18 in life, and and I Remember You, and that was it. I was in love. Keep going.
Sebastian flew down to Jersey to audition, and in early 1987, the classic lineup of the band was formed. After completing that lineup, the group signed with Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora's publishing company, Underground, unknowingly giving the Bon Jovi duo a large share of the group's royalties. Whoops. According to a 1991 Rolling Stone article, Richie gave up his claim to the Skid Row publishing money early on, a move that Snake describes as very classy.
Yeah, he did. That is true.
That is awesome.
Doc McGhee helped Skid Row get a record deal with Atlantic Records in 1988. The band recorded this album at Royal Recorders in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Fun fact about that place, it is a former Playboy resort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a very remote area because of what it was, and really great for bands recording. They expected to be recording in like New York or Los Angeles and like really cool, but they went out into like the remote nowhere.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin and recorded.
Wow. Interesting.
One catch with this, though, before releasing the album, the management paid a reported $35,000 to guitarist Gary Moore for the rights to the name of his 60s/70s era band. He had a band in the 60s and 70s called Skid Row.
How much did he get
out of
for
Ireland? That? Yeah.
How much did he get? How much did he get for that?
$35,000.
That's the most money he probably made. Not bad.
It could be.
Not bad. Good.
And fun fact, Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy was actually in that band early on with Gary Moore.
Cool.
2 days after the record came out, the band played their first date of a 6-month run opening for Bon Jovi on the New Jersey tour. Not much was happening until their 18 in Life video came out. Then, according to Scotty Hill, all hell broke loose. From a loudersound.com article, the album also stood out visually with its dark black and white cover contrasting sharply with the colorful illustrations or glammed up band photos of their peers.
I love it.
It was conscious, Sebastian claims, and the record went 5 times platinum.
Wow.
I love that cover.
I love that
it's
cover.
amazing.
It's a great one.
They had it on back in the day. It was like their merch, their t-shirts had that on it. I still have my original t-shirt from back in the day. It's one of my favorite album covers, and it's such a simple concept with the, they still use that red splashy logo even today on their current merch. So,
dude, it's like something out of a fucking Batman movie. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
My original Skid Row t-shirt got sold on eBay several years ago.
No, I still have all mine
because it was worth too much to keep. So
I'll tell you what, too, they really got the two dudes right in that video, right? That was a big part of the charm of that video. Like they just dressed them just right. Like they looked like a couple of dudes I would have hung out with, like not too cool, but cool
New Jersey
enough.
cool. New Jersey
Like New
cool.
Jersey, yeah, like the jeans, they had the right stiletto shoes, the fucking the flannel around the waist. I mean, the leather jacket. I knew these guys. And apparently the one dude used to go around everywhere being like, I'm the dude in the Skid Row video, right?
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Keep going.
Next up, Skid Row also took part in the Moscow Music Peace Festival, a show organized by Doc McGee as penance for being busted for drug smuggling.
Ruh-roh.
That was a really important show, let's remember. So it was Skid Row, Motley Crue, Scorpions, Ozzy, Cinderella. It was pretty much the first time that external bands were allowed into the Soviet Union to play. And there was a crowd, they estimate, of 100,000 people watching this show, which is just out of this world.
Yeah.
And it was also broadcast on satellite all over the
Dude,
world,
all
on
over the
MTV
world.
and
Yeah.
pay-per-view and stuff like
The
that.
funniest thing is the best band on that bill that night was fucking Cinderella. They were the real rock and roll band. They were bringing real rock and roll to the stage, and Tom Kiefer was singing like a motherfucker. He hit every note off that album. It was magical. Cinderella killed it. Killed it.
And fun fact, 2 years later, the Soviet Union would fall. So was this the catalyst for that? So
No,
It's all Skid Row's fault.
it's all Skid
it's all
Row's
Skid
fault.
Row's fault. Let's blame it on fucking Skid Row. Oh shit! No,
Brought
it was.
down communism all over the world.
I'm gonna give Ronald Reagan the credit for that. There you go.
So Skid Row continued promoting the album opening for Motley Crue and Aerosmith on their 1989 and 1990 tours. Next up, there is the infamous bottle incident.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, while opening for Aerosmith on December 27th, 1989 in Springfield, Massachusetts, not too far away from here, Bach was hit on stage with a glass bottle thrown from the crowd. Sebastian impulsively whipped it back into the crowd, injuring a fan who was not the bottle thrower.
A woman, actually.
Yes, smashed her face up good.
I heard contrasting information on the age. Some place said a 14-year-old kid. Some places said 17. So I couldn't say for sure.
I was
Doesn't matter.
there.
Ill-advised move.
Yeah, a bad, horrible move. And I think that taught a lot of people not to do that, not to throw things on stage and not to throw things off stage, no matter which side you were on. I was there that night. I did see that happen. I didn't see it come out of the crowd. I saw it hit him, because I was obviously focused on the stage. And then I saw him throw it back, and I didn't think much of it because I figured everyone's watching him. Wouldn't you just get out of the way? But he threw it hard and fast, and someone very close to him got hit. So
he whipped that thing like a fucking MLB pitcher. It was not good.
Yeah.
Their injuries required 125 stitches and a large legal settlement, along with 3 years of probation for Sebastian. The incident was filmed by a fan at the concert and was broadcast on MTV.
And he would not be the last singer to get hit with something on stage either. That's happened over and over again.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
So.
Lisa, I got a question. Have you ever seen the video of Skid Row performing on MTV where Sebastian Bach has not shaken it out properly and has the pee-pee stain in his jeans?
Oh, yes.
Dude, that is rough, man. I watched that and I can't see or hear anything else. I'm just staring at the piss stain in his jeans. It's brutal. It's brutal.
So I got one left. This is kind of goes into the future, but just to let you know how it wraps up, the classic lineup of the band split in 1996 due to declining sales and greater personal and artistic friction between the core band and Sebastian Bach.
I love revisiting all these old bands now. How are they doing now? Stephen Pearcy can't sing at all. Nothing. Might as well just be talking his songs out. Sebastian Bach, he cannot sing these songs anymore. He just can't. It's really tough. But it was funny because I saw him on The Masked Singer, and he was singing those songs pretty good. So I was actually surprised. I was like, wow, he sounded pretty good on The Masked Singer. He was singing good. And then I watch him do his own songs, and it's fucking a train wreck. So.
Yeah, they probably helped him choose those songs and choose the proper keys for what he can do now. and
there is
he
some.
can't sing like he could sing when he was 20.
There
He
is
can't
some
sing.
auto tune on that show too. You can hear not just with him, but with some other artists also. You can hear that. So.
For sure. It's produced up. Good points. But yeah, watching him play his own shit live is fucking rough. Lisa, did Dave leave any meat on the bone for you?
Well, Dave and I had to, talk before the show to make sure that this wasn't going to go on forever. So we wanted to make sure he got most of the history. So I'm going to go into a different direction.
Okay.
I'm going to set the stage of what's happening in 1989 at the time. So
I love
this
it.
was kind of the peak of glam, right? Like 85 moving up, I would say. And then from 89, forward would be kind of moving down. We were at the pinnacle, right?
Flat hair glam.
Flat hair glam. Yeah. Skid Row, were they glam? So this is controversy too, right?
No.
They, I would say, maybe a hybrid of glam and metal with a darker edge, but I would not put them with your standard glam.
Dude, even a tinge of like that grunge thing that was coming up. Just
a little
tinge.
bit. Yeah.
Visually.
It was something new, and that's what we needed to hear, right? These guys, they were young. I believe Sebastian was only 19 in 1989, if my facts are correct. He was very young. When he was in Kid Wicked, he was 14 years old, right? So he started his career very young. Yeah. So this is a first album, so we expect them to be hungry, and they were. Right. And it turned out well. So in February 1989, this would be a year after the album was released. Right. Dave Coverdale marries Tawny Katane.
Nice.
In April, John Bon Jovi marries his high school sweetheart, Dorothea, who we will learn in the recent Bon Jovi retrospective, he cheated on regularly.
What a dick.
Yeah. And she learned too, apparently, during the retrospective. Lots of great albums came out that year. 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, which we did on the show. Ministry, Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, Little Caesar, Junkyard, Wasp, Voivod, White Lion, Sepultura, Enough's Enough, Motley Crue, Mr. Big, Overkill, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Bang Tango, The Cult, Extreme Warrant. Who didn't have an album this year? That's probably a shorter list, right?
Enough's Enough. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, my first house party I ever went to when I moved out to San Francisco was on Haight Street in a little apartment, and Enough's Enough was there. They were in town.
Chip from Enough's Enough is a friend. He's they still play, and he was back in the day. He was the bass player. Today he is the bass player and lead singer for the band, and they are still fantastic live. So if they come around near you, please go see them. They're really great.
Didn't he play for the Blue Jays? Toronto Blue Jays?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Pro athlete, right?
He's really tall too. He's shockingly tall.
Yeah, pro athlete. He's a beast.
Super nice guy, and he always, greets the fans after the show. So he's a wonderful guy.
That's awesome.
Also in 1989, we were in the very early days of grunge. So Nirvana's Bleach came out, and Soundgarden's Louder Than Love. Both had lukewarm reception as far as mainstream was concerned. It wasn't quite time for that yet, but they were there. They were, the scene was coming.
They were knocking on the door.
Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Probably too.
A lot of that. Yeah. And I think we were also seeing the beginning of nu metal, maybe, early sounds of that. So yeah, there was a lot going on in 89, and you might call it, the last good year for glam until things, when things started kind of falling apart. So, the producer, Michael Wagoner. Is it Wagoner? I hope I'm not saying his name wrong. I'm sorry, Michael, if I'm saying your name wrong.
Wagner.
Do you know how they found him?
No.
Dave knows. I can tell by looking at his face.
Well, I heard a couple different things, but there was an interview with Sebastian Bach where he talked about a Malice album from 1985 that he was fond of and influenced by. And that was produced by Michael Wagner, and he had, proposed this guy to produce. That was one thing I'd heard. What have you heard?
So what I've heard is that they actually, as a band, went into record stores and would look at the back of records to see who produced them. And the one that actually changed their mind, and we'll have a little laugh about this, is Stryper's 1985 Soldier Under Command.
Wow.
Produced by Michael Wagner. And that
one of the first concerts I ever saw at the Channel in Boston. Yes.
Nice. Awesome. So, yeah. So the album, I know we were just talking about how it was a real explosion at the time. It actually wasn't at first. So in January of '89, it was not well received. The first video, I believe, was not the one that we all kind of remember as the first video, but it was Youth Gone Wild. And it did okay, but that wasn't January. That was a couple months later. But basically, the critics were kind of panning this in the beginning. They were saying it was corporate rock, and it wasn't going anywhere. Basically, until about autumn, when 18 in Life kind of came alive, and then shortly followed by I'll Remember You. So it wasn't instant, but it was still, I mean, that's only 8 months. It's still pretty quick, but yeah.
Lisa, I remember when I saw Youth Gone Wild, it was the first video I saw, I believe. And what I remember thinking when I saw it was, I've already seen this twice. I thought this is Welcome to the Jungle. And then it was Teasin' Pleasin' by Dangerous Toys, both bands which I loved and thought kicked ass. So I saw that one and I knew Sebastian was special, but it didn't grab me, like you said, until I saw the real Vision with 18, So it felt a little familiar.
They still weren't making much money in those days. As Dave mentioned, they made a pretty bad deal with this album. They were living in, small apartments, small condos. They actually never thought they were going to be big the way Bon Jovi was. So when they signed the contract, they just wanted to play. They just wanted to, be able to support themselves and be musicians. They didn't know what was going to really happen. So.
They wanted to make a record and then make another record.
Yeah.
And they weren't never as big as Bon Jovi was. And this was almost a flash in the pan. I mean, they were hot for a minute.
Yeah. So Sebastian Bach said at one point about, the fact that they didn't know that they were going to be big. He said, we could have ended up Babylon AD or Bang Tango. but no, our next album ended up as a number one. So we should not bitch about any of this because we were very lucky. And it the money may have been, not as great on that first album, but they're not bitching about it. They understand and they're very grateful for what they have. So
they did all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be fair, Sebastian had a lot of appearances in magazines. He was a very pretty and also handsome guy. So he was pretty and he was handsome. But tough. And, like, he had everything, right?
Do you remember when he took down the bass player in that fucking VH1 show, Making the Band? Like, I was like, damn, Sebastian Bach is a fucking badass. Like, he took that big gnarly dude down from, like, what was he from? Like Nuclear Assault or something?
Nuclear Assault. It was like
it was
metal band, a real metal band.
I was like, damn, Mr. Tattoo, you just got bitched out by Sebastian Bach. Yeah. I'm sorry, go.
And as we talk about this, looks really did matter. The whole band was pretty, right? And as much, I think so.
Kind of.
I definitely think so.
Half and half.
Oh, you guys are mean. They're all. I thought they were all great looking, and I think it really mattered. Nowadays it doesn't matter in this way, but it did back then, and that did help them. So yeah.
No, nowadays you don't want to be good looking. Now fucking kill you.
Yeah. Okay, so they also have two guitarists, right? They have Scotty and Dave. Most bands would have a lead guitarist and a rhythm guitarist, but Skid Row has two lead guitarists, right? You would think that this would be a problem sometimes, but actually, if you talk to the guys, first when Scotty joined the band, he just wanted to be in the band, right? He actually offered to be the rhythm guitarist. And Dave was like, no way, you are way too good for that. We're going to share the lead and, go back and forth. And, basically they're always trying to outdo each other.
They're the same guy. They're the same guy.
I think it makes them better guitarists. Like Dave wanted to play faster because Scotty could play faster. He called it, the legato shit that he did. But there's no ego there. They're always a team. And when you listen to the songs, it really benefits from two guitarists. It makes it's very thick and one can be in the background while one's doing crazy shit and then they switch and it works for them. So
yeah, I mean, it's Rat, Vane. A lot of my favorite bands did this type of thing, Yeah,
and it goes back even further to like the Rolling Stones with Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood. They do that weaving together of the guitar parts, and especially with these guys, one of their big influences is Aerosmith.
Yeah.
With Brad Whitford and Joe Perry. I mean, they do kind of the same thing too.
You know what? I was thinking about this band too, how we were talking about, how they were Flash and how big they were so fast and then how it burnt out so fast. Can you imagine if this album had come out like in 1986 or 85? So they'd had a couple of more years of the heyday. Because I'll remember Monkey Business came out and I'll remember seeing that on Beavis and Butthead and then making fun of it. Like they're making fun of it. This guy isn't cool. He's like, look at him. And that hurts you. That hurts because these are the young kids that are buying the albums, watching this, and MTV saying this isn't cool anymore.
Yeah. And so that second album was a banger.
They could have been a bigger band. This band could have been even bigger if they had come out a little earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we go, I will say one more thing about the album before we go into the individual guys. But before I go any further, just full disclosure for everyone, I do have a personal connection to the band. I have some very intense feelings, but my feelings are opinions. Not everyone is going to agree with what I'm going to say about this band. I know that there's a lot of controversy. Of course, when we get to Sebastian, we're going to talk about the controversy. But they are my friends. I've seen them more than any other band in my life. So just making that statement before we go any further.
And also, like always, we will keep it real. Even though they're her friends, I will tell you when things suck ass.
Yes. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. Okay. But just I am a little biased. I work for the band now. I'm very grateful, to have been introduced to them by my friend Janae, and I'm completely grateful to be in that world. And I can, the one thing that I want to say about the band as a whole, as they stand today, they are just some of the coolest people that I've ever met. They are so grateful for where they are. They do this for the music. They want to be musicians. We'll talk a little bit about the money later. The money is not what they're focused on. They care about their fans. They want to talk to people at the shows. These are just some of the nicest guys you could ever imagine. So
yeah, don't worry. They're going to do fine. This album will do fine.
Yeah. So going on to "I'll Remember You." Now this "I Remember You." This is the big song, right? The big hit. Rachel, wrote it, but also wrote a lot of other ballads. So like they kind of just write a bunch of songs, right? And so there was many, many, many ballads up for consideration for this album, right? Dave and Rachel didn't really want I'll Remember You on this album.
Big mistake.
They thought, it's okay. And the rest of the management was like, you guys have lost your minds. And it was Sebastian who pushed them and said, this is the one. This is the one that has to be on the album. Eventually they were like, yeah, okay. But I'll make you a deal, Rachel and Dave. I'll make you a deal. We can put I'll Remember You on the album. But when you produce this album, there will be no keyboards. None.
Oh, nice.
So, right? And that was the deal that they made to have this on there. So
excellent.
They were obviously not right about this song. I mean, they didn't dislike the song. They wrote it, right? But it wasn't their first choice. They were wrong about that. Okay, fine. But no keyboards was probably one of the best things that could have happened.
Yes.
So. From what I read, that they kind of wanted to keep it hard and they didn't want to be the ballad band.
Right.
So they basically wanted to like stay more metal.
Yes.
And now, that's why they wanted to keep it off.
It was a good choice.
And if you look at the second album, that's exactly what they did. So the ballads on the second album, In a Darkened Room, Quicksand Jesus, Wasted Time, these were edgy, hardcore ballads. These were not like sweet love songs, right? They did it. They did it how they wanted to do it.
Wasted Time, best vocal ever recorded.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ever.
There it is. Ever.
Yep. So Rachel has made some statements about the album. We kind of just talked about it. 90% of the album was written before Sebastian even joined the band in '88. A lot of these songs were already on the demo, sung by, the original first singer, Matt. Songs written by Dave and Rachel together, who were the main writers for Skid Row just in general and going forward, right? There's some controversy. Sebastian spends a lot of time online arguing that it was all him. That he did it, that all of the songs were terrible until he put his hands on them. Now, Dave and Rachel will tell you that, sure, when they collaborated on the songs to re-record them, Sebastian put his flavor on them. He did. He raised the notes. That's what he did. He picked out some melodies. That he did that. But the songs already existed, right? The one exception might be Making a Mess. I believe that Sebastian has a writing credit on that song.
Well, there you go.
I know
That
he does
tells the
on one
whole
of them.
Yeah.
That tells the
probably
whole
it.
story. Then
Dave,
there you
Rachel,
go.
and Sebastian have writing credits on that song, but the album was written by Dave and Rachel. Okay, let's go into the individual guys. Rachel Bolan being probably the guy that I know best in the band. A full disclosure again, it's my best friend. He's a best friend of one of my best friends, so I've known him for a very long time. His name is a stage name. Rachel is a hybrid of his brother's name Richard and his grandfather's name Manuel, which I found really kind of cool.
Yeah,
and
cool.
here's a piece that I actually didn't know until very recently when Dave introduced me to it. His last name is a tribute to his childhood idol, T-Rex frontman Mark Bolan.
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't know that until very recently.
Duh.
Yeah, and right? And I know this guy very well. So, yeah. So he was the vocalist on 2 of Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley's solo albums. I don't know if you knew that. And backup vocals on Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. He's produced a whole bunch of bands. Rockets to Ruin being like kind of the biggest one that he produced, which I believe Rob Hammersmith was in Rocket. I shouldn't say was, because I don't know necessarily that they're broken up, but is in that band, we'll say. They toured with Skid Row, as well as touring with Nashville Pussy, a friend of the show here, King's X, and they opened for Paul Stanley.
Nice.
He also produced the Lucha Gores. Have you heard of the Lucha Gores?
I have not.
A punk band from Atlanta.
Has anybody?
Well, I think a lot of people have, because the front man or front woman, front person, is wrestler Amy Dumas.
Oh, interesting.
So, WWE wrestler. So.
Nice.
He also produced a stoner metal band, Godspeed, which I think you mentioned. Did you mention Godspeed? I'm pretty sure you did.
No, that was the band that he was in before Skid Row was God.
Different band. Okay.
God something.
Yeah.
God.
A lot of God bands.
God Sing.
God.
Okay. So this band, Godspeed, I found kind of interesting. It's not my kind of music. Stoner metal is not my kind of music. But this band has 2 bass players.
Oof, big bottom.
Right? Isn't that
Spinal Tap?
Yeah, that's kind of fascinating. He played bass guitar for Stone Sour in the studio when the original bassist left the band. Corey Taylor of Stone Sour is one of his closest friends. And he also has the band, the Quasi-Motors. Try to say that. Which is a 3-piece band with 2 singers, himself and the guitar player sing. And the band is described, this is kind of neat, and this is going to make you want to listen to them. The band is described as if Johnny Cash and Iggy Pop were to write songs after a 10-day bender. That's a direct quote from Rachel. So
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Yeah. So currently, Rachel has a company. He actually makes soap. So Dirty Rocker Soap is Rachel's company. That's at dirtyrockersoapco.com. Super high quality soap. They smell great. He basically made them because he was sick of using hotel soaps when he was touring. So, they're small batch. They're, great ingredients. He has a lot of high profile clients. He does real well with that company. So he has that. They also have the 18 and Life Ultra Premium Rum, Skid Row rum. I don't know if you saw that. Runs between $90 and $110. You can get it online at lovescotch.com.
For sipping.
For sipping. Yep. It's pricey rum. And somebody else I know is his wife, Layla, one of the most stunning women I have ever seen. I met her at one of the shows when I was selling merch, and I was standing at the booth, and, the band is on the stage, so we're kind of right near the stage. And there's this woman standing next to the merch booth. I swear to you, like the spotlight was on this woman. She was like the most stunning woman I had ever seen. And I poked Janae in the ribs and I said, "Who is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's Rachel." It was Rachel's girlfriend at the time, Rachel's girlfriend, Layla. And I was like, "Oh my God," right? Not only is this woman beautiful, she is smart. I'm not going to disclose what her job is, but she's a highly educated woman with a very, very difficult, complicated job. Absolutely wonderful person. Love her to death. Hi, Layla. I hope you're listening.
Lucky man.
Yeah. Oh, stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Nice.
So moving on to Dave the Snake Sabo. We already mentioned that he tried out for Cinderella, right? And got, he kind of got turned down.
Was denied.
He was denied, and it really crushed him, right? Did you know he was an athlete?
Nope.
Where did he play?
He was professionally scouted in high school as a baseball player.
No, could have played with Chips Enough.
There you go, softball team.
Yep. Yep. But what derailed that was that he saw Kiss play live when he was a kid. And once he saw Kiss play live, he knew that he was going to give up sports and he was going to focus on music. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah. He played lead guitar on Trial of the Soul on a track by the band, this is so great, Christ the Conqueror, but it's Kryst, Christ the Conqueror.
Mhm.
Oh my God. With former members of the Misfits, Jeff Scott Soto of Yngwie Malmsteen's band. Scott is credited under a pseudonym, Christ the Conqueror, because he was still under contract with Malmsteen and was not allowed to play with anyone else. So fun fact for that. He also was a touring guitarist for Anthrax. So there's the Anthrax connection, right? Again.
Love Anthrax. Love old Anthrax.
Yep.
Spreading
For the
the
Attack of
disease.
the Killer A's tour. That was in the early 2000s. And if you guys want to know what he played on the album, he played a black 71 Les Paul Custom with a Floyd Rose.
Love it. Don't love the Floyd Rose, though. You just what? You put Floyd Rose on a 71 Les Paul. You destroyed it.
He played a pink Kramer with a humbucker and 2 single coils. I have no idea what that means, but I'm saying it anyway.
That's the kind of pickups.
Okay, kind of pickups. Yeah.
I can't get past that Les Paul thing.
Yeah. A single cutaway Les Paul Jr. He played that one on the solo for Here I Am and some rhythm stuff. He plays an Ovation 6 and 12 string for the acoustic sections. But most importantly, he has his Kramer snake guitar. I don't know if you've seen this, the green guitar with the snake on it. Have you seen that? Yeah. They reissued the snake guitar in 2021 for sale. Cool. And he has, it was called the Beretta, actually, Kramer Beretta. You can still buy that online. And he has he's spoken about having 2 more new guitars coming out with Kramer. He actually spoke about this just a couple months ago, but I don't see anything online. He was hopeful they were going to be out for Christmas. I don't see anything, so I think they're just not ready yet. So hopefully
I believe they had the classic hockey puck headstock, the Berettas, the Kramer Berettas.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Dave's wife, Tina. Another spectacular woman. Let me tell you about her. Oh my God, she's amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Another one where you would, you're in an arena full of people and you can pick her out in the crowd. That's how beautiful she is. They pull gorgeous women. So yeah, rock stars, I don't know.
That's what happens when you're in a rock band.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you got $1 million and everybody in the world wants to be your friend.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't like that with them. And here's how I know that. So here's my Tina story. So I was at Mohegan Sun Casino. They had just played. We, stayed the night there. So in the morning, we're all outside waiting. They have a terrible place. When you pick up your car after they put it in
valet.
It's sort of valet. They force you into valet there, but the pickup of your car in the next morning is miserable. You can wait like 2 or 3 hours to get your car back. So we're all sitting out there. The guys are. These guys work hard, right? They just finished playing. That was their last U.S. date that they were playing. And they were getting ready to jump on a plane over to Europe. So they're all, they're sitting out there with like all their gear. And Tina's sitting next to me. And was going through some really absolutely awful stuff. And I was talking to Tina, and she doesn't know me at all. It's the first time I met her. And she took the time to sit there and listen to me and then to tell me the story of the beginning of their relationship, her and Dave, and how they got together and how I should basically know what to know what I want from a man and like respect myself and expect to be treated a certain way. And I was not doing that at the time. And she took the time to sit there like for an hour and talk to me and give me fantastic advice. And she didn't have to do that, right? They had a stressful night. They were getting ready to travel. She didn't have to take the time to do that. And she did. These women are amazing women. And these guys are very lucky to have them. So
nice.
Yeah.
And then you met Dave and everything turned around because Dave's a good guy.
Well, I've known Dave for decades, but then I was not dating Dave at the time. So,
no.
Yeah. So that was years ago. Right. So, Yeah. Okay. So Scotty. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say about Scotty is that Scotty is very, very quiet, very protective of his personal life. So I won't be leaking anything about it at all. But when you meet him, like if you do a meet and greet with the band, he's kind of standoffish with people, but he's just very shy and he keeps to himself, but super, super sweet guy, very, very talented guy. But he's going to be the one kind of brooding in the back, right? So he has a band, Ozone Monday. Do you know Ozone Monday? No,
I have not
blank
heard of
stare.
it.
Okay.
No, I have not heard it.
The singer is Sean McCabe. And he also, of course, plays with Dave and Rachel in that band. And the former Skid Row drummer, Rob Affuso. So that's that band. They formed this band in 98. This was during the hiatus between 96 and 2001 when they kind of came back. This band, I don't think it's gone because sometimes this lineup still plays, but there's no dates future for that. So,
okay.
And I think you mentioned this, his first ever show was an arena show.
Yeah. Opening for Bon Jovi.
Can you imagine having your first show at Skid Row as an arena show? Yeah.
I cannot imagine
that.
No
pressure.
Yeah. So he plays Blue Jackson guitar and a Red Spectre Les Paul Jr. style with the Floyd Rose. There's your Floyd Rose again.
I like it on that guitar. It's fine.
Yeah. There's a Strat for a couple spots, but he pretty much sticks to those two. And he doesn't speak too much about his endorsement deals or anything like that, but he does do some work with some companies. So
nice.
Yep.
And he makes his own effects pedals now.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool. Get together with Delana and see what they can come up with.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We need all these guys to get to create like a big company to make guitar parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Rob Affuso. So he decided not to return to the band in 1999-2000 when they were reforming. His reason is that he was refusing to come back unless Sebastian came back. That was his reason.
I think that was a good choice.
Well,
come on.
I don't know that I agree with it, but what I do know about Rob is that he's still a friend to the current Skid Row band, the original band, and he's still a friend of Sebastian Bach. He's the only member that has maintained his friendship across the board with everyone throughout everything. He played on Gilby Clarke's debut solo album in 1994, which was with Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan, and also on Duff McKagan's solo album. But he has had a really interesting career since Skid Row. So he is a band leader for a band called Soul System. Do you guys know this band? Probably not.
Nope.
Okay. The reason you don't know this band is because they play Motown music and R&B.
That's not Paul Stanley's band, is it?
No.
Shit.
No, he also has an entertainment company named Soul System Orchestras, and he's a adjunct professor at a private New York State University, which is called Mount St. Mary College. He's teaching music business. So
cool.
Yeah, so he's been busy, and we were talking about it. The kind of things that he's doing, kind of doing the music that you want to do, having a music company, teaching music. These are things that the average guy who has never had a 5-time platinum album probably couldn't take the risk to try that as a career, right?
Right.
So he's doing. I think he's living his life, the way he should. So
yeah, he's doing it for the love of it.
Yeah,
and also getting paid.
Yeah, he is fully in favor of a original lineup Skid Row reunion. Obviously, I guess we should talk about the fact that they have been offered truckloads of money to do a original lineup reunion.
Yeah, but if you've seen Sebastian, just don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it. Just don't.
And it's not just about Sebastian's voice and all of that. We'll talk about Sebastian next. But it's like one thing that I know about the guys in Skid Row, and I think a lot of the fans don't know this because I hear a lot of people out in public. Oh, they weren't. They were only good with Sebastian. They're not good now. Completely wrong. The reason that they don't want to be back with Sebastian is that it's chaos.
Toxic working environment.
It's toxic. Right. They don't want the drama. These guys want to play the music and they want to, be happy, right? And they just don't want any of that. And I don't think there's enough money in the world for them to do that reunion.
Nope.
Honestly.
It doesn't need to happen either, so it's fine. It just doesn't need to be there.
Yep. Okay, I guess we're going to talk about Sebastian now. So here's where it gets controversial, because I am obviously on the opposite side. And don't get me wrong, back in the day, one of the reasons that I originally liked Skid Row was because I loved Sebastian's voice. When you hear Sebastian's voice on the album, his studio voice is
Magic.
unparalleled.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. It's exactly what it is. But Sebastian's an emotional guy, right? In many different ways, not just with performance, but he's an explosive person in kind of all corners, which is why it's chaos to work with him. Now, you could say that having that personality is a good thing for music, for being an artist, right? You could say that maybe that's why he was so great and had what he had, but it's not fun to work with, right? And also, if you look at the live performances, even back from 89, 90, 91, he's not a controlled singer, right? He doesn't hit every note. He's you can see him in the moment. He's so in the moment, and he so wants to perform for the crowd, and he's like, it's just all passion, but it's not controlled the way a singer needs to be.
Unrealistic to think that anybody could do that night after night in a massive arena. It's not sustainable, that album.
Yeah. And he did burn his voice out. He had hernia surgery in 2017 from what he would call, singing too hard. But, so I think a lot of it is he wasn't trained, he wasn't a disciplined singer, right? He burnt himself out. So let's go back in the day. His story was that he was partying one night with Tommy and Nikki from Motley Crue. And he claims that they just loved him and they thought he was so wonderful and great, because Sebastian thinks everybody thinks he's great. The real story is that he had all the cocaine that night, and that's why everybody thought he was so great.
Nice.
He says that he gave them a tape of him performing, like a demo tape, and that they gave the tape to Doc McGee, and that Doc McGee suggested him for the band. Now, we've already heard 3 stories as to how he got into the band, right? Yeah. Including the John Bon Jovi. So who knows? Yeah.
I like that one the best.
Yeah.
I want to go with that one.
Yeah. So it sounds like the most rock and roll, right?
Yeah, I'll take that.
So he did take some criticism in 89 when the album came out, reading, with a shirt. I'm not going to say what it said, but it was a controversial saying. But, I have some mixed feelings about this. I think it was a rude shirt. Yeah, okay. He claims that a fan gave him the shirt. He threw it on. He didn't read it. He only had the shirt on for like an hour. A picture got snapped of him. And I don't know what's true, but, I have met him many, many times, mostly back in the day. He was really nice to me when I was very young. Anyone want to tell me why he was really nice to me when I was very young?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, we all know why. I wouldn't say I was cute, but I was a kid. I was 16, 17 years old, like, of course he's going to be nice to me.
Nobody puts that shirt on by accident. Oh, shit, Look at that. What is that? Oh, interesting. I didn't notice.
But I will say I didn't get any sense from his personality or from any of the times that I met him that is a core part of his personality. So
right.
It very well could have been a misstep. I think it was just a mistake. And he has more than made up for it over the years, making money for charities, on the opposite side of what he said. So
he was trying to shock people and trying to get the word out and, have people talking about him. And it was 1989 and fucking nobody gave a fuck. People said shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
It was wrong, but...
It was wrong, and it was a hit for the band, like, publicly. But I really don't think he meant harm in the way that
honestly
it
worked because everyone was talking about it.
Error in judgment,
a momentary lapse. Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. I don't think it was an intentional statement by any means.
Right.
So
it was shocking.
Yeah. So Sebastian has had a really big solo career since leaving Skid Row. Okay, that's a lie. He's had a solo career. He's had a solo career with a revolving door of backup musicians.
It's brutal.
He is able to attract some big talent because of who he is, because of his name. So you will occasionally see some big people performing behind him, but they don't ever stay long. Anyone want to answer me why?
Because he's tough to
work with. He's hard to work with, right? Okay. Yep. In 2000, he began performing on Broadway. Now, honestly, this is the most interesting thing about him to me is his Broadway performances. Jekyll and Hyde, Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Show. He did a stint with Jesus Christ Superstar, playing Jesus, which apparently was absolutely brilliant. I didn't actually get to see it, but I heard it was great. I feel like maybe he was kind of made for that. His voice was made for that. I think he probably did really well. Maybe he should have stayed in that world, but it ended pretty quickly. He tried out for Velvet Revolver before the band found Scott Weiland. According to Slash, we sounded like Skid Roses, so it wasn't going to work.
I don't like you. I don't like you that. I love Velvet Revolver. Oh, what an underrated band.
He competed on 2007's reality show Celebrity Rap Superstar, which he came in third place. That's a strange thing for him to do. And my personal favorite thing that he's ever done, please don't laugh at me, in 2010, he was on Celebrity Fit Club. With Kevin Federline, Nicole Eggert, and Bobby Brown.
Didn't work.
His team did win. But when I saw him, he was really big in the beginning of that show, but I think he purposely put on weight before the show so that he could lose it big and win the show. He did really well on it. He beat everybody in every competition, but
he's actually looking a lot better just recently. He's really started to slim down a bit, and looks like he's taking his singing a little more seriously.
Yeah, like I said, in 2017, he had a singing-related hernia surgery. He literally screamed his guts out, was the exact quote. Yep. He wrote a memoir called 18 in Life on Skid Row. I don't know if any of you have read this.
I haven't.
But critics panned this pretty hard. The Nikki Sixx Dirt memoir is probably the most memorable of that genre. And I think he was trying to fit into that wild lifestyle type of a story. But, basically what the critics are saying is, the distance of time has not given Bach much objectivity about his past.
Yeah.
So, the stories end with him being a drunk asshole, but there's no story at the end where he learns from it and tries to do better. He just keeps going in exactly the same way. Now if you talk, and I know that Nicky's not exactly the most beloved figure of the genre either, but people like him and Steven Adler, who came through some pretty serious, addictions and issues and have, at least got some perspective afterwards and kind of changed their ways and made a difference in the world afterwards. Man. Yeah. Sebastian hasn't done that. No. So
still living in Vegas like it's 1989.
Yeah. So I think something that the band has struggled with is Sebastian's controversial behavior even outside the band. So who isn't a wild man in rock and roll? Like there's lots of guys doing crazy stuff, but he kind of goes off the rails. So recently there was a report in the rock news, multiple channels of the rock news, that there is a video going around of Sebastian with one of his exes doing some interesting things. And I don't know how deep I should go into the video, but it's a very compromising video. And
I'm curious, what do you do? You can't drop that.
According to reports, the video is an intimate video of the frontman from Skid Row, fully exposed, crawling around on the floor, pretending he's a dog, nice. and fetching a ball with his mouth and bringing it back to the person filming the video.
I do that like 3 times a week.
Yeah. Well, I cannot confirm nor deny, maybe I can, that the video exists.
Nice.
But
saw what you did there.
But there's someone threatening to leak this video, a man threatening to leak this video, which I think is totally wrong, by the way. He's.
Is it Axl Rose threatening to leak the video?
I literally don't see what the big deal is. If any of the listeners would like to see me do that, just write in and I will have Delynn film that with her cell phone and I will post it. Okay, no big deal. Woof woof.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw his recent, I don't know if you follow him on social media.
I do not.
Okay, so very recently, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't think it was that long ago, probably 3 weeks ago, my timeline is a little off here. He posted some absolutely insane things on social media. So apparently his current wife and him were having issues. And he posts a picture of his hand with his wedding ring and then his hand without his wedding ring. And then a series of posts of his package wrapped in his stage pants and him saying, "Hey, look at my new stage pants." And it's just basically his junk, right?
Nice.
And just a series of like crazy, insane posts. Like it was, just one night of just an hour or two of posting. Just nuts, right?
Yeah, drinking
Nuts.
wine, taking shots.
Yeah. And in the morning, wouldn't you know it, the posts are gone and he's posted an apology to all his fans that, he's in a blah place and blah, 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 blah. It just seems like throughout time that, he doesn't have control of his emotions in the same way that he doesn't have control of his voice.
He's a man-child.
Yeah. So,
Isn't that the name of his new album that's coming out?
What, man-child? I know the new songs and videos are not
very
great.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of Skid Row fans, especially at the shows. When we do merch and they come in and they buy the merch and, the merch is for the band now, right? It isn't meant to be for the band originally, but a lot of people make comments about it. And, I just want to put it out there. Would you want to work with someone who could snap at any moment and do something to ruin your career, to ruin your peace, to ruin your financial, stability? Would you? Probably not, so that's my comment to everyone. So we can't talk about Skid Row without talking about Eric Grunwald, the new, although gone singer of Skid Row, and the difference between him and Sebastian. Now, Eric, fantastic guy from Sweden. Oh my God, brilliant to talk to. Just an absolute sweetheart. Super nice, loves the fans, loved being in Skid Row. He was a lot younger than the guys. I think he was 34 maybe when he started touring. So he had leukemia and went through a bunch of treatments, and Skid Row, had found him and asked him to join the band. And at 1 week after his last leukemia treatment, he was on the road with Skid Row touring. So he's had some issues with his health over time. So he did step back from the band to deal with his health. But if anyone wants to see a real singer who is disciplined and has trained his voice for many, many years, please go check out Eric Grunwald, whether you look at the performances of him with Skid Row or whether you look at, he does a series, like, I don't want to call it a series. He does a lot of videos of him covering songs, right, on YouTube. So he's done like every, rock song that you can imagine, Motley Crue songs. He'll do Journey. He'll do, Dio. He'll do all these songs. But he's also done Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. And he's done Aha, Take on Me, and like songs like that. Go listen to this guy sing. This is a disciplined singer that has trained his voice for years. His voice is not going to burn out because, you can tell he's got control.
When you sing properly, your voice does not burn out.
Yeah. And when you see him play with Skid Row, sing with Skid Row, you watch him hit those notes. He hits every single one perfectly on tune every time. He never misses. This is a unbelievably talented singer. So their new album, which came out in October of 2022, it's called The Gang's All Here, features Eric as the singer. And when we do shows with Skid Row, they play a couple of songs off the album. The big single is it's the name of the album. The Gang's All Here is like the big single, right? They play Tear It Down, and I think they play Time Bomb sometimes off that album. People run over to the merch and they're like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard a good Skid Row song since the first few albums. This is amazing." And we sell out of that album every time. Everyone should check out the album. It is absolutely, absolutely incredible.
Yes, undeniably amazing vocalist. Yes, but Sebastian Bach was a gigantic package that brought a lot to the spotlight of Skid Row that, maybe what he lacked in control, he definitely made up for in Sebastianism, if you will.
Yeah, and
So
would they have been the hit that they were without him? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. So there's something to be said for that. I have, respect for that and all that, but my personal interactions with him have been very uncomfortable, unlike the rest of the band.
Right.
And yeah. And one final thought, Skid Row still tours to this day. They currently have Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm filling in as their singer. She's a powerhouse. She's absolutely wonderful. It's not a permanent placement, so they are looking for a permanent vocalist. So.
Yeah, I watched a couple of videos with her doing some of their songs, and yeah, she fucking brings it,
She's
man.
good.
She's
Yeah.
hot. She's a firecracker.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like it, but I really like that guy from Boston. Go on YouTube. What, Dave? What is it? What's the guy's name?
I don't have the guy's name, but I believe he is from the band Mount Metal. Is
Mount
that the
Metal,
one you were
correct.
talking about?
Yes, and he did a.
I've mixed their band a couple times live.
Yeah, he did an audition tape for Skid Row where he sings every song on the first album, and Lisa thought it was a little too metal of a version, but I thought he nailed it. I thought he did a great job. I was really impressed. I mean, it's not like it's not like Skid Row's new singer, like it's not quite that polished and perfect, but for a guy from fucking like Malden that plays in a metal band, I was fucking impressed, man.
Yeah.
This guy was bringing it. So check it out. It's
I
on
think
YouTube.
He's gonna go somewhere though. Like he's gonna front something for sure.
Extremely talented. The kid's got
really
great
is.
voice. Great voice. Okay, so there you go. That's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I joke.
I am so sorry I dragged this out, but this
That's
is
okay.
the band that has my heart and I have the most feelings about. So.
It's only been an hour. It's fine. Okay, so are we ready to do some opening thoughts and to do this album?
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right, I will get you started. If you asked me last week, is this a 100-watt album? I would have said, of course it is. But that was last week. The question is, how did it stand up to my breakdown for this show? Let's find out. Dave.
Yes, I have listened to this album before. I got it on cassette probably not long after it came out. This was when I was in 9th, 10th grade. I was just switching from skateboarder guy into teenage metalhead.
Awesome time.
Yeah, I can't remember if I originally heard them on the radio or saw the videos first, but I was an original Youth Gone Wild. It was cool that they were local Jersey guys, and I played the hell out of that tape. I loved it.
Nice. I was fucking drinking at the scrap bar when this came out in fucking Greenwich Village, and it was the best fucking summer of my life. Lisa, okay.
Yep. Obviously, I've listened to this. I was in high school when I first heard it. 89 was a controversial year for me. I was pretty young, but I was on the crazy train at that point, and I saw Youth Gone Wild, and I said, "Oh my God, it's me! It's me! I was Youth Gone Wild, and I had to have that album." I've worn out. I can't count how many cassettes and CDs I've worn out of this album. I have bought it over and over and over again on every media. Of course, I still, I'm a goth girl. This is not necessarily my style of music, but this is one of just a small handful of maybe 4 bands that I will still listen to today.
Nice.
It was brilliant. Yeah.
Nice. All right. As always, we're going to rate the singer. So let's rate the singer. It's 1 through 100, 25 on hair, 25 on style, and 50% on presence and vocal talent. So there you go. I will go first, and I mean, here it is. Come on. Let's not get cute here. This is Sebastian Bach. He was king of the mountain when this album dropped, and for good reason. He's the greatest hair metal vocalist of all time. From a talent standpoint, untouched in the day. That album, his albums, his studio work, it's amazing. He had perfect hair. He violently assaulted the stage night after night after night. This guy is 100 on the scale, 100 plus. There it is. Okay.
Okay, well, as much of a douche as he may be, he did have maybe the best hair in 80s metal. Yes. This is hair any supermodel would kill to have. Full 25 score there. 18 on style and stage presence. He looked fucking cool and was pretty. Great stage moves, except for nailing that kid with the bottle in Springfield, Mass.
Oh, shit.
We'll also deduct a few more points for that one bad t-shirt choice. The one that we were talking about before.
Nice.
40 on vocal talent. We've talked about this before with Sebastian and talked about it earlier in this show. When he's on, but he is very uncontrolled and can get way off track, especially with the excitement of live performance. I'm willing to bet lots of takes were necessary in the studio to get the excellent vocals that we hear on the album. My score is 83 for him total.
83. Yeah,
wow,
a lot of cocaine.
83, really?
A lot of cocaine live, I think, got him going.
Yeah, I bet.
Numbs up the throat. Not good for the singer. Lisa, how did you see Sebastian Bach?
Wow. Best hair in rock and roll, right? He made a decision, remember we talked about during Kid Wicked time, he would tease his hair, and he actually teased his hair every day, like as a daily thing. And that was his look. And he made the decision to stop teasing it for the Youth Gone Wild video. And that was probably the best decision that he ever made, right? He had the best hair in rock, maybe even to this day still. And no one can deny that. It doesn't hurt that he's beautiful. He's pretty. He's handsome. He has the eyes. He has the cheekbones. He has the jawline. If you look at those pictures that were in the magazines back in the day, he knew how to work the camera. He had the stare. He knew how to pose. And he knew how to dress. And I think a lot of that was because he literally started this at the age of 14. And he was developing his style for many years. That includes what he wore and so forth. And, he had great style. He was wearing like leather pants and a chainmail shirt. It was badass enough for the guys and hot enough for the girls. He had that perfect mix. There was no silly glam, colorful tassels or nonsense like that. It was just badass, right?
Yeah, brown leather jackets, just good.
Just good. He can command a stage. He can command an auditorium. He can keep hold, tens of thousands of people's gaze, right? He's a front man, right? That's what he does. He can interact with the audience. He can move. He can, his dance is not cringy or anything like that. It's good, right?
Yeah.
The voice, I don't think there's many people vocally that can touch him in a studio. Right. If he has the chance to do a bunch of takes, there's probably no vocalist that can touch him. Right. And remember, we're talking about 1989, right? Not today. But for me, the live shows were not always great. Now, there were some times where he would have a great night.
Yep.
And he would hit the notes and he would do it. But it was unpredictable. Right. And the unpredictability is kind of what knocked him a few points for me. Also, he didn't care for his quote unquote instrument, right? So he didn't care for his vocal cords or care to learn how to not hurt himself when he was singing. So his voice hasn't aged well because of what he was doing back in the day, wildly using his voice, right? He's still, in my mind, one of the best frontmen of we'll call it the glam era. Maybe they weren't so much glam, but he's still, top of the top for me. And people today, I'm at the shows all the time, always mention he was the best front man. I don't agree with that totally after seeing Eric or anything like that, but people in general, mainstream, flocked to him. He had it. He had whatever it was, right? So my final score is 95.1.
I like that score. Okay. Even the best singers, even guys like Tom Kiefer, that did really know how to sing and treated their voices like the instrument and took it very, very seriously. That was one thing I was going to say about the difference between kind of what Skid Row's doing now. Singing clubs and doing these more relaxed tour dates is a lot easier than, now when you're growing up and you're taking it seriously. Then you got to remember back in 1989, these guys were on these really tough schedules. They're doing an album, they're doing the videos, they're doing the tour, then they're back in the studio, they're doing it again. They're hitting these huge arenas, which is a lot harder to fill these arenas up with your voice than a club. Right. And they're doing it every night, and it's 1989, and they're partying and drinking, and it's all real, and it's completely different. So even Tom Kiefer, ended up having surgery. It fucked his voice up. He had one of his vocal cords, had this surgery done to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, these guys, they had short shelf lives because these studios and these record labels just chewed them up and spit them out.
Yeah.
Just overworked them. So you got to kind of cut a little slack for that. It was a heavy workload to carry.
Yeah, but I think in the Bon Jovi retrospective, actually, they talk about
Another
how
guy that can't sing anymore.
well, I think because of what they, like you said, what they did to him, they were working almost nightly in these huge arenas,
Yep.
and they worked them to death for
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just wanted to put that into perspective. I mean, that was a rigorous schedule these guys were under back then. And now they do it more for the love of it and under their own guise of, what they want to put out for effort. They don't work themselves obviously to the point of, breaking. So, okay. So let's add those scores up and find out where he is.
Okay, on the Violent Vinyl frontman leaderboard, Sebastian Bach is exactly where he belongs, with a total score of 92.70, way out ahead in number 1.
I love it.
Ahead of Alice Cooper.
I love
Alice
it.
Cooper's better.
I think he's exactly where he belongs. I think he
is too.
Yeah, he was a great frontman.
He is too. Okay, awesome. Let's get into the tracks and I will get us started. So the first track on the album is Big Guns. So this song slightly dated from a lyric standpoint, obviously, but I'm not gonna let that ruin the fun, right? Sebastian delivers these cheesy lyrics like an angry beast, and I love it. It's so much attitude. The guitars, they sound great, along with the production of the entire track and the album, really. But I wish these guys had shown some restraint on this album with all the whammy bars and the squealing. Both of their guitar sounds are very, very similar, and both of their styles are very similar, which is fine. But it's a lot. It's a lot of the squeal and these whammy bars. I think some of these songs would have been better with a more scaled down, straight Les Paul into a Marshall solo, and then kind of save these like whammy squealy ones for the songs they really fit in. But they decided to ride or die with the same solo style song after song. But overall, this is a great opening track. I loved it. Dave.
I thought it was a great opener. Right away, we get a guitar team. That's what, kind of what we were talking about before. Not a rhythm guy and a lead guy, but, two guys who are just cohesively playing their parts together. A little bit of slide guitar. Both of those things were kind of uncommon in 80s metal. Huge backup vocals, big drums, big bass. Lyrics are a little bit, as we mentioned, on the cheesier side in this one. Some of them I do like, like Valentino with a hand grenade.
Yes.
It just puts a picture in your head. That's kind of cool. But they do the job. The guitar solo is really impressive. Just the right amount of shredding, not too much, but expanded beyond your basic blues licks. We get treated to a cool breakdown in the middle. They're keeping it fresh, changing up the parts just enough so we're not getting bored. A great song. As a bonus, the band still sells their Big Guns t-shirt with an 80s style cartoon girl on the front.
They do.
Yeah, check the merch link on their website, skidrow.com.
Yeah, Dave, I love the verses of this song. I think it's just that, that chorus it's fun, but it's cheesy. Lisa, what you think of the opening track?
I think this is a great start for the album. It's much heavier and grittier than the glam was back in the day, and that made me really happy. The lyrics are unique right from the very beginning, right? She was a ballerina on a subway train, stiletto heels and a candy cane, right?
So
we all
good.
remember that. I don't want to say that they're cheesy. There is some cheesy on this album, but when you have a singer like Sebastian delivering it, even when it's cheesy, it's amazing.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. They don't. So there's some controversy in 80s metal that, women are kind of treated like objects. And I don't think it goes for this album, even though this song, Big Guns, obviously has some of that. But the women that they write in their songs, they're more developed characters, right? They're not just a slut on the street, right? It's like a developed character with a personality. And a nice thing about this band, we're not singing about underage girls. We're singing about women, a band that likes women and not little girls, which is fantastic. I love that.
I agree.
I wanted this song sung about me. Of course, I say that a lot. I like the guitar solo. I know you said it was a little too much whammy bar, but I really like how the two of them kind of spur each other on, and they have this like perfect timing in the solo. Um, I'm doing time as a backseat Romeo. I love
So
that
good.
line. Oh my God. We get our first taste of the album of Sebastian's high notes. That's the bridge. So I'm gonna say this in most of the songs here. They are masters of writing a bridge, right?
Yeah.
We had that album Kiss album last week where they were really bad bridges.
Nothing.
Almost every song on this album, and I'm going to go through each one individually, but they're brilliant at it, and it comes right back in with the screaming guitars, and it's such a thick sound with the two guitars. It's just I love how they work together. There's high notes at the end. There's a stick ending with a drum flourish. There's no official video for this song, but there's lots of live performances, both back in the day and with the current lineup. A few with Eric, and there's a surprisingly great one with Lizzie Hale. So,
that's so cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Track number 2, Sweet Little Sister. So this one, short and sweet. Again, it's slightly dated lyrically. But again, Sebastian's delivery is so good that it does not matter. It doesn't matter. It's Skid Row, and it's great. This one, great guitar solo, fit the song perfectly. And the arrangement in this one, tight, to the point, loved it. Great track. Good second track. This album's off to a great start on my re-listen. Dave.
Opens with a really cool riff where the guitars are playing different parts but complementing each other, and cowbell.
Yes.
Great chorus. Not reinventing the wheel here or getting super philosophical, but it works well. A little bit of problematic lyrics here that you could get away with in 1989, but don't roll so well in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Another great guitar solo played by Snake. In a 2024 Guitar World article, Scotty named this solo as his top choice of Dave's guitar solos on this album. They rated each other's guitar solos.
I think I would agree.
Yeah, the ending riff is similar to the beginning, but beefed up a little more, and a nice short stop ending.
Do you think Sebastian liked wearing his t-shirt when he was singing this song?
Maybe.
Lisa, what'd you think of track 2?
I love this song. I love it. There's a cowbell in the beginning that I love. I love the lyrical delivery on this song. The lyrics are pretty complex, and the lyric lines are long, but he delivers this just like bullets. Like, she blew my mind behind the record machine. She was a shitload of trouble called the Subway Queen. It's
so
fast
good.
and just so like that's a lot of words, right? And he just you understand what he's saying, and he just gets them out. It's like incredible. I wanted to be the sweet little sister. I was an only child when I was growing up. I have a lot of sisters now that I found out are older than me, and some that are younger than me. So I was technically a little sister. So maybe it, could have been about me. But most importantly, they say my name in this song. So she's a Mona Lisa with a new tattoo, which is true. So yeah. So there's a really cheesy line in this song, and it's when he says, "She's so sweet, sweet as candy," but the delivery of that is freaking brilliant. If anyone else tried to sing that, I would be like, "Oh my God, that is so stupid. I can't yuck," right? It's perfect. It's perfect with Sebastian. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He transforms some of the notes into like high screechy screams. Like you said, it's Dave's solo. This is one of his legato shit solos that he tried to copy from Scotty, I think. I think that's why Scotty likes this one so much.
Cool.
I used to blast this like driving through the mall parking lot or whatever. There's no video for this song. There's a lot of live footage from all of their lineups playing this. And already at this point of the album, I'm going back in the day, the songs are too short for me. Like, I want them to go longer. I want like more, longer guitar solos. I want more. So, yeah.
I agree with that statement. And I also think it's interesting that you noticed how you could really hear every note that and every word that Sebastian was saying.
Yes.
And that really is just the tip of the hat to the production of this album. It was a really clean album.
And to be fair, tipping the hat at Sebastian for his enunciation and being able to deliver things that quickly that you can still hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the amount of effect on the album, though, they really did a brilliant job of not making it muddy. You know, it sounds crisp. Track number 3, Can't Stand the Heartache. So I never liked this a cappella intro ever. The first from 1989 till now. It doesn't work for me. It's it's good. They're singing perfectly. It's not anything about the performance, but it's too safe and feels too Bon Jovi for this band, right? Like this band doesn't do this. But overall, it's a good song. Rachel Bowen playing some really great bass on this track in particular, but the overuse of the gang vocals, it dates the track and it sounds good if I'm listening to it 1989. I love it. Listening to it now, it's just like it was a fad, it was a phase, it was a passing thing, and it really dates this album hard to this time period where an album like Appetite just doesn't have that. They just played rock and roll like AC/DC or any other great rock band, and that's why that album is timeless, and this one is stuck in a certain decade. And as good as the overly squeaky whammied guitar solo is, and it is a really great solo, it feels like it's trying to be something it's not. It technically falls short of what it wants to be. And what it wants to be is like Warren DeMartini when he's going into like a lick or a run where you hear him play it and you hear every note and it's so clean and you're just like, fuck, that is fucking good. Or even a couple of solos off that Vein album where Delana gets into a run of solo and you're just like, oh my fucking Christ, that was so clean and so perfect. And this, it's almost there, but it's not. It's not to that level. And this is Sebastian's weakest track on the album, in my opinion. Dave, what do you think of the track?
This one is credited to Rachel as the only songwriter. It's a little different, maybe a little lighter, poppier. I didn't mind the vocal beginning, but I get what you're saying about it being a little, Bon Jovi or some other
Mr.
lighter
Big
band. I think I couldn't find a source on that, but I think that was a suggestion from the producer that they add that on. I believe I heard that story at some point, but I couldn't find it again. So the first verse has some dueling volume swells from the two guitars on the left and right. It's kind of interesting to listen to. Musically, the whole song is pretty simple, but it's spruced up with some tasty bass lines and fills.
Nice. I don't want that to be a insult on these guitar players. I mean, I'm comparing these solos to fucking Warren DeMartini, right? So, I mean, they're doing something right. These guys both can play really great guitar, but when I hear it go in there, I have to compare it to what I hear, and I hear Warren DeMartini. So take it for a knock, take it for a compliment, however you want to take it. You're in good company. Lisa.
I actually like the vocal opening in this. I called it a gang vocal. I don't think it was more than one person singing.
Definitely.
Like 30 people singing.
Yeah. I actually kind of like that. I now that you say it, like I hear maybe it's a little cheesy, a little Bon Jovi, but it was 89, and for me that was fine, right? So that was okay with me. I think Sebastian's voice is cleaner on this song. There's a little less grit in it, and we get a little more of a taste of his actual vocal range on this song rather than kind of this screech and scream, right? The tempo on this song is a little bit slower, but it's not a ballad. It's like somewhere in between, and I like that they're mixing up the tempos. We're only 3 songs in, and I don't feel at all like I've heard repetitive anything yet, so that's good. I like the lyrics in this song. There's fall in love with a twisted lady, suicide with a cover girl. I love that. The chorus is catchy. There's a part, he goes, can't stand the heartache, so bleeds the red, red rose. And then later in the song, it's so bleed the red, red, red. And he like keeps going. I just freaking love that. I don't know why. Yeah. He he twists it a little bit. I freaking love it. The bridge, again, a masterpiece. It's a perfect step away from the main part. The guitar like seamlessly comes back. It's like we're hearing a master class in writing a bridge for a song. It's like absolutely brilliant. I like the guitar solo. There's some discordant notes in there. It's fast. It needed to be longer. It was actually really, really short on this song. 16-year-old me dumped a lot of guys. I didn't have a lot of broken hearts when I was that young, but I sung it to myself as if I did. So yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Good.
Lisa, I think what you said nails it on the head. This album, what made it so special is that every song love it or hate it, had its own identity. Like
Yeah.
you could separate I know every fucking song. It's one of those albums, not like some of these other albums we've done where like the songs start bleeding into each other. I'm like, did I hear that? Like for instance, that Kiss album. So yeah, every song has its own identity. It is a mastercraft of writing music and how to write songs.
It is.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Number 4, Piece of Me. Whoo, this one's a scorcher. I fucking love this intro Rachel delivers. It's killer bass riff. Now, I realize I have not mentioned the drums yet. And I realize at this point, that's because they fit like a glove. They're not amazing. They're not great drums. And he's not doing anything like I'm hearing a lot of fills that kind of, sound a little bit the same, but it gets the job done perfectly to the point where I just don't notice it. And I like that sometimes on an album, right? This aggressive vocal with tons of these weird little harmonies. Like I was hearing it like in my right ear, hard stereo. I'd hear like this little harmony he'd sing and it would be like almost a fucking 18th of a second out of time. And it was so good. Lot of fun. Another great track. 4 in. I liked all of them. Dave.
Yeah, this one is also a solo Rachel Bolan written song, and it's all about the great bass riff that we got going on here. This one, I feel like, displays his punk influences the most. A few spots of vocal layering like we talked about. Great song. I'm going to be playing this one soon live with yet another band that I'm in. It's called Gypsy Freaks with a Z, GYPZY.
Nice.
We're playing in Drake at Mass December 15th and New Year's Eve at Codo in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Codo.
Come out and hear the song.
Yes. Will you be bringing 2 guitars to that show?
He's going to bring 5.
Okay.
Most assuredly.
Excellent. Okay. Anybody want to tell me where we are in the show now?
Yeah, it's my turn now.
Lisa, go.
I'm also going to shout out the amazing bass opening by Rachel. Absolutely wonderful. Even back in the day, I noticed it. Love the metal guitar riff that comes in shortly after it. I love the sleazy way that Sebastian's vocals come in right after that opening. It's about a guy looking for trouble. In Sebastian's voice, you can hear he's angry. It's like vocal anticipation. He's like ready for a fight. Oh my God, it's amazing.
So good.
Yeah, there's the chorus is one line, right? One line, and that's the whole chorus, and it just goes right back into the story. I love it. There's a pre-chorus. It should sound cheesy. It doesn't sound cheesy. It's freaking masterful. It's like vocal sex. Awesome. What is it? It's like 1 for the money, 2 for the show, around and around and around we go. That I would hate that from anyone else.
But here it's magic.
Perfect. It's like magic. I don't know how they make it work so well, but they do. The song is gritty and sleazy. There's a good guitar solo. It goes on later to repeat the first verse. So we have like a verse repetition, which is not super common in music. But what happens is his voice gets more angry and more sleazy and drags the lyrics more. Like he's getting even more and more ready for this fight. He's just ready to like punch someone in the face. It's friggin' amazing. And then there's a great screech, a high note screech at the end. A great song to play when you're angry. Finally, we have a song with a video. So there is a video, some great concert footage. They live in my head playing loud. So it's kind of, when I see them in these old videos, I'm like, oh, there's baby Rachel. Look how little he is. He's so young in this video. Look at Sebastian. They're so young. And, Rachel's got the nose chain and,
so good.
Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like my memories are like flying across the screen just watching this. It stood out from the glam videos of the time. This one, I don't think was heavily played on MTV really. I do remember seeing it. There's also, for this song, there is a live video where they play in 1991 at Wembley Stadium that is amazing. And then there's another one, Vegas 2022 with Eric, also amazing. So
nice. Yeah, that Wembley show is pretty good. Sebastian's all over the place for that one, but he's going crazy. It's pretty fun to watch. All right. For a minute there, I had lost my way. I was like, can I phone a friend? I didn't know where I was. All right.
You haven't even mentioned the edibles yet. I don't know what's going on.
I believe me. During the facts, I was eating edibles, which is why I'm now fucking tripping balls. Track number 5, 18 and Life. So come on, guys. This song, obviously killer. Vocals, next level. Production and arrangement, next level. Sebastian shows off his range on this one. It's fucking very impressive. And the solo, though it lacks a little bit of feel, it really fits this song. And when they're doing their little tricks and licks that fit the songs, it's perfect, man. It's as good as it gets. So I really love this one. And of course, the video is fucking awesome. This is a 115 watt little project song video combo. Yes, please. I'll buy it all day. Dave.
Here's one of the big ones. I used to play this on all the time with the Sunset Strippers, one of my old cover bands. And this was the second single released from the album. It's interesting that they waited this far into the album to put the, quote, hit songs. This one was written by Dave and Rachel. In a YouTube interview with the Professor of Rock, Snake states that the inspiration for this song and the lyrics was his brother Rick's life after coming home from Vietnam. Awesome story song. There's a reason this one's a classic. A great solo by Scotty, and according to that Guitar World article, it is Snake's top Scotty solo pick. Lot of guitar layering here, clean and dirty, along with acoustic. This is the band's biggest hit, reaching number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and number 11 on the Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart.
Yeah, Dave, you know why I think they waited to put, one of the 3 bangers so late into the album? Because they didn't have to, because the first 4 were fucking great. They were like,
songs,
they're like, fuck it, we don't have to. They're just fucking just get started off. Yeah, it was great. Lisa.
Oh, one of the most memorable Skid Row songs, hybrid power ballad. It's billed as a power ballad. To me, it's a hybrid power ballad. It's a story song. It's what is that Bon Jovi song that tells this story? Living on a Prayer.
Living on
right?
a Prayer.
Yeah.
Blood on Blood.
Yeah. So yeah. So like we're telling a story. We all relate to the story. We get it, right? We meet Ricky. We all know Ricky. He lived 9 to 5 and he worked his fingers to the bone, and we all know this, right? Yep. In the video, Ricky was played by Patrick Sullivan. He is a singer of a band called Forgotten Child. You can find their music online, but you probably shouldn't.
Okay.
It's a little bit like Wasp or Dio, not produced very well. I think they needed a little bit more money behind them before they were going to do anything. On their album is a song called Skid Row Star.
Oh, shit. Stop.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They looked really great. They had a great look. He's still around. You can find him on Facebook under his full name. He wears an eye patch. I don't know why. I'd like to know why. But he is still around. But yes, he did, Skid Row Star. He did go around and tell everybody that he was Ricky from the video. And you know what? He should, because this video was huge and we all know it. And, it is what it is, right?
I would have done the same fucking thing. You shouldn't me. I wish I was Ricky.
So would I.
Fucking call me Ricky.
For this song, is there any more recognizable opening of a song? Like for me, probably not.
Sweet
back
Child
in the
of Mine.
Maybe back in the day, like DJs talked over the beginning. Remember when they talked over the beginning? Oh my God, they used to kill me with this song.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to shut up and let the song play.
11:55, time for the weather.
Right?
You're trying to make a tape. You're trying to make a tape. You're
Everybody
like,
trying to make a tape. Oh my God. For me, this is a musically perfect song. I like the breathing vocal that's in the very beginning where he kind of just goes, and the opening vocals are great. The melody is clean from Sebastian right from the start. It's a beautiful chorus. You can sing along with the chorus the first time you hear the song. I like that part. Ricky is the wild one. Again, should be cheesy, isn't at all. Works perfectly. It's interesting when I go and work at these shows or I go see these shows, when you stand kind of on the side and you've got the view of the band and you're looking over the audience, and every single person in the audience is singing every single word of the song. This is one of these songs, everybody knows it. It's a masterful bridge. Starting to sound like a broken record here, but in the video, the bridge is the culmination of the shooting scene of the video. And we get that perfect metal scream from Sebastian at the end of the bridge that is just out of this
And
world.
leading into that guitar solo, it's come on.
It's perfect. And to me, this is probably the most perfectly written guitar solo in glam metal history. I absolutely love this one. Like Dave said, it's a Scotty solo. Dave not our Dave, but Dave Sabo, Dave the Snake. When he said that it gave him chills when he heard the solo on this song. He actually went to John Bon Jovi and he said to him, do you ever get chills when you listen to your own songs? You're like, is that how it's supposed to work? Right. So Ricky is 53 now. I believe he's still serving his life sentence unless he was paroled, but who knows?
Fuck, poor kid.
So yeah.
Free Ricky.
Yeah, free Ricky.
Oh shit. All right, so that ends the first side of the album. Holy shit.
We're halfway there, people.
Oh my God, I hope the battery doesn't die on the laptop. So I'm going to do a quick fast five. I'm going to try and get you through this. I took the time to write it up, so we're going to fucking do it. It's called Time for a Makeover, Fresh or Fail. I'm going to give you one rock star and then another rock star. What we're going to do is we're going to say, was it a fresh move or a fail when they went from one album to the next visually? Number one, we have Nikki Sixx. He went from Shout at the Devil to Theater of Pain. Was this makeover fresh or a fail, Dave?
Fail. Yeah, Shout at the Devil with the spikes and the black leather. Yeah. That's the way they should have stayed forever.
Lisa.
Shout at the Devil is the pinnacle look for Motley Crue for me. It's the fail. Yeah.
Yes, I did not appreciate Matthew Trippy in that striped suit, so we're going to call that a fail. Number two, Billy Duffy from Electric to Sonic Temple. Fresh or fail? Dave. It's tough.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I'm going to go business-wise, it was fresh. As far as originality, it was a fail because let's go fresh.
Okay, Lisa, I'm going to tell you. So the first one, Billy Duffy plays the big white hollow body guitar. He's got the short, super tight blonde hair. And then he moved on to the leather jacket with the denim vest and the long hair.
He went from looking like this
I know who he
to
is.
looking like like every other guitar player.
I know who he is now. I just didn't know what his name was. I'm going fail with this one.
Okay, and the correct answer is whatever Dave said, because that's exactly what I think. That was perfect. Nicely said, Dave. I don't think we need to break it down too much more than that. That was exactly right.
All right.
Number three, Tracy Guns, going from LA Guns to Cocked and Loaded. So this would be going from Sex Action to Ballad of Jane. Hey.
I like the long spiky hair better than when he chopped it all off and changed up the look. Tracy Guns with the bushy hair and the lipstick and all that is probably better. So we're gonna go fail.
Okay, Lisa.
Yeah, I feel like Tracy Guns can do no wrong, but I will say I did like the more glam look better. So fail.
Yeah, I did not like the 50s ducktail with the wife beater and the faded black jeans. It did not work. I give me Sex Action, leather, tassels, and stars. Number four, Ozzy from Blizzard of Oz to Ultimate Sin. Dave, what is cooler?
Pretty sure
fail.
Blizzard of Oz. Yeah, we're total fail. We're going from rock and roll dude to Golden Girls.
Lisa, what is better?
Oh my God. Well, definitely Blizzard of Oz, mainly because I love that album so much and it had a special place in my brother's heart. So it's a memory album for me. So it's a fail for me.
Yeah, total fail. And I think I got a really good one for the last one. So number five, Mick Mars. Too Fast for Love with the Mars pants in the leather jacket or Shout at the Devil. Was this fresh or was it a fail?
I'm going fresh. You upgrade the look. Not everybody on the street is looking like, Road Warrior meets Leather Dungeon,
Okay. Lisa.
I love Mick Mars. I really do love Mick Mars. I think for Shout at the Devil, he was probably my least favorite of the quote unquote characters in Motley Crue. So I'm gonna go fresh with this one. But really, he was great either way.
Okay, this is a total fail, and I'll tell you why. I just want you to look at him, how he's dressed in Live Wire. Okay,
Okay,
He is
yeah.
maybe the coolest
Cool.
one in the band. He's all dressed in black leather, black Les Paul. Just looks great. Shout at the Devil kind of looks like my Auntie Nona with the blue straps and the high heels. It's a fail. So there you go. That is the Fast Five, and now we will move on to side B, and we will try and get this thing done in the next 25 minutes. I want to keep this under 2 hours. So here we go. Number 6, Rattlesnake Shake. This is definitely a filler song, but it's fun. And honestly, there are no throwaway tracks on this album. Not one. I'd say we have to just toss it off. Filler, but still its own entity, has its own identity. By the time we get to this guitar solo, I am officially worn out from all the squealing and whammy dive bombing. It's just too much. I wish they had picked up a Les Paul and just ripped a straight fucking guitar solo through a Marshall stack from time to time, and it would have made me appreciate those 18 in Life solos more. They would have stood out, and I went, wow, fucking did there. Fuck was that? But it's just, at this point, it's starting to become Dangerous Toys, that type of thing where it's just like, holy fuck. Every solo, every section of every solo. But it's still very good. Dave.
Coincidentally, on their 1989 Dr. Feelgood album, Motley Crue also had a song called Rattlesnake Shake. It seemed like every band in 1989 had a song called Rattlesnake Shake.
Rattlesnakes are cool.
Skid Row's version is pretty badass. Excellent interplay between the guitars and bass in the beginning. Song is okay, not a big hit, but a good album track and cool enough for me.
Exactly. Dave, you're fucking right on the money tonight. On your game, not breaking any strings on this show. Lisa.
I love the guitar opening of this with all like the note stretching. I think that's what you don't like, right? Note stretching. I love that. I like how the bass is in the beginning. The lyrics are maybe a little bit cheesier on this song, but it still works. It's a fun song for me, like a danceable song on a pole for me. The bridge is really nice. They can't make a living working door to door. I love that. Where he brings the notes like really high. The chorus is fun. It's a little bit silly. There's actually 2 bridges in this song. I don't know if you noticed that. It's like super cool. It's musically solid. I like the way that Sebastian delivers the lyrics, even when they're a little cringe. His tonations like make everything perfect. The guitar solo on this song is really complex, and that was my note on that. It's really really good, I thought. But I love the screeching notes. I don't know how many takes it took him to get this song down. This was a particularly like mixed vocal song. So yeah, I like it.
Lisa, you know how much I love a bridge. And you know what I love more than a bridge? Another bridge. 2 bridges. They're good.
Love it.
Holy shit. Okay. Track number 7, Youth Gone Wild. You know, this album is just picking up speed, and it was already moving at 100 miles an hour. Obviously one of the greatest, if not the greatest anthem hair metal song ever written. I mean, you've got, Mommy's All Right, Your Daddy's All, but I wouldn't count that as hair metal, right?
No.
This is kind of the next era's version of that. I mean, it's that fucking good, right? Lyrics, pure fucking fire. Vocals, fire. Again, it came with a killer video. And again, so I'm not just bashing. I love both guitar solos in this song. I love them because they fit the song perfectly. I just wish the song before had just been something different. So I was like, oh, there it is again. That thing they're doing. And then it would have been that thing they did. And I would have been like, when they did this, I was blown away. Dave, great song though.
This was the first single from the album. The song's music video received heavy airplay on MTV. However, as a single, it only reached number 99 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and 27 on the mainstream rock tracks. It starts like a punch in the face. Really snotty sounding guitars. These guys are playing throughout the album much more interesting parts than many of their contemporary bands. They're not just chugging some basic chords here. The song was named one of the 20 greatest hair metal anthems of all time by our buddy Sleaze Grinder in a 2015 loudersound.com article. And from that 2024 Guitar World article about this song, Snake states, that song became an anthem for us, and it was our story. It summarized the band, and the solos we play are really an extension of not only ourselves as individuals, but the song and the story as well. And they also dropped their own band name in the song. Awesome.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, the middle breakdown is custom built for concert arena play, as is the call and response vocals at the end. Great, great song.
Yeah, it's very well written. Lisa.
This is the anthem of my childhood. This is, I think, the best metal anthem there is. Even better than "We're Not Going to Take It" by Twisted Sister, which is like another one I can think of.
Much better.
This is my favorite anthem. I'm so shocked how low it registered on the charts. I don't know anyone that doesn't like this song, so I'm surprised that it charted so low. This is the song that brought Sebastian into the band. When he heard this on the demo, he said, "This is the band I have to be in. I want to sing this song." It's angsty, it's angry, it's young, it's loud, and I was all of those things when I first heard this song, so it, of course, spoke to me. The gang vocals are perfect on here. The little scream when he says, "Let me hear you get wild," and just, it should be cheesy. It's friggin' amazing. The dual guitar solo with the two guys, they're almost like dueling with each other. It's so beautiful. Good. Yeah. And then you get the solo vocal with the drum beat behind it, and where, everybody pumps their fist. And, at the end when he sings, "Whoa, whoa," and then the gang vocals answer back. When you see this song played live, there are two things strike. It's that whoa section where, the singer sings and then the audience answers back, and just watching that back and forth is great. But, they say the name of the band in the song, which is what Dave just said. But to me, that should be really cringy. And it's like, should be something that you don't do. But let me tell you, when you see this live and you watch the audience scream the band name at the band, and you watch them like, yeah, the band like feels that in their heart. It was a great decision, and it works perfectly. The video, Sebastian has a lot of hair in this video, and there's a lot of hair flying around in this video. There's a lot of head banging. There's a lot of punching walls, and it's, a little bit of black and white, and there's people running around, and there's some performance shots of the band. It's really just a perfect classic 80s anger video. And I love everything about this.
Yeah. And, to hide the band name perfectly in the sentence,
right?
Yeah. It's great. It's clever. It's fucking awesome. I mean, if it was fucking, if it was Mr. Big, we couldn't do that. So Skid Row worked perfectly. You know how I love the bash on Mr. Big.
Watching a huge audience just sing that to them as they stare out over, it's just an amazing
fucking
sight.
Money.
Yeah,
it's money. All right, track 8. Here I Am. Okay, so perfect missed opportunity here to give this album a little bit of soul, give it a little bit, maybe make it a little more timeless sounding. This song is pretty good, but Jake and Scotty, this is where they really missed an opportunity to just, put down the fucking Jacksons, pick up a Fender Strat, Les Paul, whatever. Give us a couple of like ripping blues rock and roll solos, just crunchy, dirty, AC/DC, GNR, like this is where it should have gone, and they didn't do it. But yeah, it's a good song. I would have liked to have heard that guitar solo showdown between the two of them in a different style, but we didn't get it. But it's fine. It is what this album is, so it's kind of what I expected, but it is kind of what sticks it right there in the late to mid 80s. It just can't get out of its own way sometimes. But not a bad place to be stuck. Fucking love 1989. Take me back there right now, Dave.
Cool riff on this one. It may be an underrated song on the album. It's credited to Snake and Rachel on the writing. With the Superman reference, and it's sounding very much like something that could have been on the Bon Jovi New Jersey album. Maybe they tried writing this one to pitch to their Bon Jovi pals, but wound up keeping it to themselves. I have absolutely no information to back that up. That's just
nice.
My off the wall opinion, but pretty good song. I like it.
So that song, The Warrior, the 80s pop hit?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Smith and Scandal.
Yeah, so they had a guy, a
sorry.
professional writer. They had hired him to write the song for. He wrote it, and he was like, I think I'm going to keep this one. And they were like, yeah, if you keep the song, you can pretty much not write music for a living anymore. He was like, well, why don't you take it? But he recorded it with his own band, and so sometimes that stuff happens. You get commissioned to write a song, you write it, and you go, I think I'm going to keep that. And nope, sorry. Lisa, what you think?
I like this song. There's kind of almost like a mini solo riff in the beginning, sort of, before the vocals enter. I really like that. We have another female character here in the song that Sebastian is offering himself to. The lyrics are complex and great, and his delivery makes them even better. Um, this song has a lot of, and I keep forgetting the word, licks, guitar licks. Like there's a guitar playing, and then there's like somebody doing tricks on the top that that. I love that. She broke a million hearts on 2nd Avenue with her German cigarettes and designer attitude. Come on.
So
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
There's a gorgeous bridge in this song when Sebastian, when they slow it down and Sebastian comes in like, you don't need a crystal ball. Oh my God. It's just perfection. There's a dead air stop in this song, which is perfectly executed. And remember, there was a dead air stop on that Kiss album that was like brutally horrible. So this is an example of somebody doing it correctly right here. Great guitar solo. This was the Les Paul solo, which is the Dave doesn't normally play this guitar, but I really like this solo. It's actually one of my favorites on the album. I love the cut ending on this song. And then I don't know if you noticed it, but it really quickly transitions into the next song. It's like a beautiful production that they did there, which was not common back in the, certainly not with this style of music back in the day. So I think this is an underrated song. I think you don't hear about this a lot when people talk about Skid Row, and I think they should talk about this song more.
Yeah, if you listen to that song and you listen to the actual guitar solos, they are playing some different licks on this song, and particularly one of them is actually playing some like really cool blues licks. And it's just, unfortunately, it kind of doesn't come across that way because of, the sound. But yeah, I mean, they've got those licks in their bag, and you can hear some of them peeking out during this song, which is one reason I like the song so much. Track number 9, Make a Mess. Nice visual on this one. This one definitely a little bit goofy, I think. Would have worked better. Now, imagine this. This would have been better if it had been recorded live in an arena, right? And you get the energy of a live crowd. Then it's more fun. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing this. But as a studio track, not great. But not bad. Still a great song. I mean, it's got its own identity. I know every word. I was able to sing along with it like I had bought the album yesterday. So still a great song, but I would have liked to have heard a live version of this. Dave.
Well, I put a comment here that it was a nice touch to run that last song into this one.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it was.
You did catch that.
I didn't ignore that. Lyrics aren't super imaginative. I'm not sure about the counting. Is this Nightmare on Elm Street? 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
I liked that.
The song rocks, though. It's the only song on the album, like we mentioned, that Sebastian is credited as a writer, along with Snake and Rachel. Good guitars.
Yeah. Lisa.
I like the angry growl opening with the vocals. This is not my favorite song on the album. I do like it. I don't love it. It's kind of, there's the chord progression on here is a classic blues chord progression. At least that's kind of how I heard it. But the vocal melody and the way that they're delivering it makes it like more metal sounding to me, at least. Dynamic lyrics here. I have a note. I liked the counting chorus.
Nice. Okay.
And the reason that I like it is because when you see them play it live, it's super fun to watch it play live. So maybe that's kind of what Des was saying.
Again, going to the live thing, right?
Yes, a good live song.
Yeah.
The absolute highlight of this song for me, though, is the bridge when Trouble keeps knocking, but Billy keeps rocking like this, and then the music changes. Oh my God. I love that so much. The song just like drops out. You hear like the isolated hi-hat and the bass, and then a fantastic guitar solo. You can't discount Sebastian's great lyrical delivery on this song. I think any lesser singer would have made this song just a disaster. It's angry how he drags out some of the words. He does these like lyrical stutters, like in all the right place throughout this song. The only cringy part is there's like a lyrical outro at the end where he kind of like extends the chorus. Yeah, I didn't like that too much. This song feels different than the other songs on the album, which is why, I think the Sebastian writing credit makes sense here. It's a little different, but that middle piece, the like this, and then drops in, one of my favorite moments on the album, even though the rest of this song is just kind of meh for me. So
yeah, that ending thing is so Bret Michaels, like off a Poison album. I fucking hated it. Oh God. All right, track number 10, I Remember You. So come on, guys. This might be the best hair metal power ballad ever recorded. Maybe this and like Home Sweet Home, right? I mean, there they are. The vocals, beyond amazing. Lyrics, absolute masterpiece. The arrangement is fucking spectacular. And when Sebastian goes for the money shot high note, it was magical. The first time I heard it, I just went, I jizzed in my pants. Okay? It was that simple. Rachel plays tasty bass licks on this track. But so here it is, guys. This is where the guitar solo really, really hurt the song. They went CC DeVille when they should have gone Slash. This solo is literally fucking Every Rose Has Its Thorn. I Won't Forget You, Girl. Just pick one. Fucking pick a fucking Poison song where CC DeVille just fucking hammers the whammy bar and squeals and over processes. This thing literally needed a Les Paul with the fucking switch put up on the top neck pickup through a fucking Les Paul, and he just plays me a fucking beautiful solo with feel with like hardly any effect on it. And this song is timeless. It could have been recorded any time in time, but this solo just, it's 1989 again. Just, missed opportunity, but a good solo. Dave.
Every bad boy has his soft side.
Fuck yeah, they do.
This was the third and final single from the album. Just like the other big hits on this record, it's a classic for a reason. Has similar chords to many other glam metal ballads of the time. Every Rose Has Its Thorn is one example. How many can you find?
So many.
But it's okay. Big layering on all the guitars here. I love the solo from Scotty. His guitar sings and cries in this one. I remember in an old interview in a guitar magazine, I couldn't find it again, where he talks about recording that solo, and he was really lonely and homesick, and he looked at photos of his girlfriend, and he went right in and cut the solo. That's a great story. I don't know if it's true, but awesome song. I'm sure it played at my high school prom. Love
the solo's fine. The solo's fine. It's fine. I just wanted a different flavor. Lisa.
I hope I can get through this without crying.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Everyone knows this song. Everyone with a guitar can play this song. Everyone with an 80s cover band covers this song. Everybody knows this song. This, to me, is the best power ballad of the 80s and maybe ever of all time. There's nothing better than this. And you mentioned Home Sweet Home from Mötley Crüe, which I do love that song. This one's better.
It is.
That's how I feel.
It's better. It's better.
Yeah. It's played at, funerals and during breakups, and people like dance to this at their wedding, which is strange to me because this is kind of a breakup song, but this is a song that's just kind of like played everywhere. Sebastian's voice on this song is we get to really hear his range. It's a soft, song for him. It's a perfect mix of, heartbreak and all of that. The guitars come in, fills out the song. I can't even read the lyrics to you because I'll cry. So we'll skip that. There's no screechiness in this song. When he hits the high notes, they are all perfectly clean. There's no grit. It's just, I can't, I don't even know how to explain it.
They're rounded over and polished. It's
beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, he did do a great vocal on this song.
Another perfect bridge in this song where they kind of take the melody down into like a minor chord, and the last lyric before the bridge, I'm not going to read it, usually makes me cry. Reminds me of my brother who used to play the song. So there, I got it out without crying.
I hear a little treble in your voice.
Yeah. So Scotty plays the solo, and you actually said you didn't like it, or
I didn't say
wasn't
that.
Your favorite. Wasn't
I
your
didn't
favorite?
say that.
So what did you say?
It's a great solo. I just wish I could have heard him play it in a different style.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
A little different style here.
I think it fits the song. I think, and I had the same comment as you. He makes the guitar cry, and now I understand why he was homesick and all of that. Back to acoustic for a minute before the exploding guitars come in again, and an impossibly high note by Sebastian. the longest song on the album. I think it was over 5 minutes, which, is really great. And then there's that final kind of acoustic outro that's like the perfect ending, especially when you hear the song live and they, everybody's singing and then they bring it down to that acoustic and isolated acoustic. It's just really, really beautiful. Um, who hasn't lost someone? I mean, everybody can relate to this. You've either lost someone by death or by breakup of a relationship, and you're forced to keep the memories or throw them away because they're too painful. And let's step into the video. The video for this song is exactly about that. We get what appears to be a homeless man in the city, who is looking at pictures of what appears to maybe have been a wife or a girlfriend, and he's dropping the pictures throughout the city, like he's releasing the memories because they're just too painful to hold on to in his current circumstances, which I definitely understand that. The video, Sebastian they're performing in like I guess what is a practice room or something, and Sebastian is sitting on a box in the middle. Did you see that? Which is anti everything that he is. Like he's, usually the center of attention, like running around and like doing stuff. And he's just sitting on this box in the middle of a practice room, delivering these lyrics. And you get the baby face, close ups of the baby face. And it's so good. And it's uncharacteristic of him. And, but I think they did it exactly right for the super success that this song was going to be. So yeah,
moving his tongue to show the vibrato, and I loved it all. I loved it all. He was fucking beautiful in this video. That opening shot of him in that brown leather jacket, the fucking forget about it.
Perfect.
Come on,
perfect.
Forget about it. Jack and Johnny Bananas there.
Beautiful. It's a great, it's written perfectly. I mean, it's a musically perfect song to me. Yeah.
I was watching High Fidelity with John Cusack thinking, God, I really want to open a fucking niche fucking like trendy record store. I think I would be good at that. Just talking shit about fucking music all day in my own record store. What was the name of that store in Jersey, Dave?
Vintage Vinyl.
I'm going to call mine Vintage Vinyl.
Vintage Vinyl 2.
Vintage Vinyl Deuce. Awesome. All right, last song. I hope I've got this right because I may not. Midnight / Tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, because at first I was like tornado. Dylan's like, try tornado, idiot.
Tornado.
She's like, what's a tornado? Explain it to me. Can you use it in a
things
sentence?
on the roller grill at 7-Eleven.
Oh God. So this was the one song I forgot about on the album, right? I thought, and I swear, Pandora had shut off the album and just moved on to the next thing. Yeah. And I thought it was like either Rats Wanted Man or some Dawkins song, right? But no, this is Skid Row, and it's their version of early 80s hair metal. The dual solo, so Robin Crosby, Warren DeMartini. This thing sounds like a fucking Rat song or a fucking Dawkins song. It's unbelievable. And I loved it because I loved the early 80s metal. And it was really fun. It was almost like 1989 tipping its hat to 1983. And I just thought it was so cool. Great way to end the album out for me, and almost like a little Easter egg surprise because I had kind of forgotten about the song. So I got the thrill of kind of like rediscovering it. So I loved it. Dave.
This song is credited to Snake and Matt Fallon, original singer of Skid Row, as the writers. Cool, spooky vibe to the song. Awesome guitar harmony in the solo, which they could have done just a little more of on the album, but probably didn't want to overuse the trick. The tornado part of the song at the end is a cool little teaser where you get a taste of another song, but wish they had finished it and made it into a whole song. Same technique was used before by their idols Van Halen. Good ending to the album.
Yeah. Lisa, what did you think about Tornado?
I'm only going to be able to call it that from now on.
El Tornado.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm already sad from the previous song, right? And what I need right now is something loud and angry and like a banger. And this song didn't really scratch that itch for me. But let's look at it kind of in isolation. Great riff opening. I like the layered guitars before the vocals come in. Good lyrics to this song. It's got a catchy chorus. I love the gang vocals in that. Sebastian's lyrical delivery is again unique in this song. Like we've been saying, each one of those songs has their own identity, right? He almost delivers like a spoken word in some of this, which is a different style, and I really like it. I'm not sure where Tornado comes in because it's not in the lyrics, so like I don't understand how that fits in. I'll have to ask him one of these days.
Yeah.
There's a right. Why have I
I'd
never
be
asked him
interested
that?
in that.
It's a really nice guitar solo. It's very complex. No video for this one, but there's very little footage of them ever playing this live. I found one performance from 1989 and then never again. So, for the ending of the album, it was fine. It was a good ending for the album. What unbalances it for me a little bit is having that power ballad, that amazing song, so close to the end. And then I'm not like really ready for it to end, and nothing, there's no pickup at the end. Like I don't know. Yeah. So
it's a good ending. All right, guys. So that's it. We have broken down Skid Row. I mean, there it is. Literally. You've gone to college. You have a degree in Skid Row. I love it, dude. I love it. The show's great now. It really is. I'm really so happy with what it's transitioned into. So thank you, Lisa and Dave, for everything
there will never be a show that I can talk as much as I can talk about Skid Row. So,
well, I know you guys put a lot of hard work into everything you do for the show, and I appreciate it, and so do the listeners. So there you go. My job is just to show up here and fucking act confused. So what we're going to do is we're not going to bring back the bonus track full time. What we're going to do is if one of you guys has a song that maybe you think you want to present us and the other listeners with, that maybe something you might not be super familiar with, go ahead and send it to the Facebook page and we'll do it, because we had a request this week from listener Alex M. Osler, and he wrote that he's been enjoying the show for the last year, and he would like to hear us review One Last Soul by Black Country Communion, a band I've never heard of, a song I've never heard. So thank you for turning me on to a song that I will spoil. I enjoyed very much. And if you are one of the listeners of the show, I will suggest that you go and check this song out, One Last Soul by Black Country Communion. So there you go. Send in your requests and we will do the bonus track when you guys want to hear it.
The bonus track.
Now for the song, let's see. So I've never heard this song before. I never heard the band, and it's a shame because I really like the song. Get that really organic classic drum sound that sometimes I don't love, but I really loved it here. It made this track timeless. Tight popping bass. And finally, the vocals had killer melodies and killer harmonies. The only problem was they were extremely repetitive, and that was the chink in the armor here. Overall, this feels like a bit of a jam song. Solo section definitely lacks some power. The guitar tone needed more bite. The whole section felt a little weak compared to the vocals that kick back in after the solo. This singer's got balls. He's really, really good. And finally, I had to check if this was a band from the late 70s. I literally thought this could be a late 70s band. And no, I checked it out, and it's a modern band. Kind of reminded me of Ted Nugent. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. For me, it's a 73.9 watt. Alex, thank you for turning me on to this song. Dave, what did you think?
All right. I had a lot of the same points on my comment card here. I really dug the classic rock vibe. That was very cool.
Dave, what are the dimensions of your card that you're reading from right now?
It's a 3x5 index card.
Oh, I can see it in your hand there.
Printed on white paper, lined.
Nice. It looks like it's about the same size as... all right, Lisa, go ahead.
Okay, never heard of this band, never heard this song before. This is from 2010, so it is a modern band. They are described as a 70s classic rock band like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. So immediately I'm like, ugh, this is not my style. I don't like any of this stuff. The people, they call it a supergroup. The people in the band don't, to me, look like a supergroup. It's Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple, Joan Bonamassa, who's a blues guitarist, Jason Bonham, obviously, John Bonham's kid.
You're explaining a lot here.
Yeah, Derek Shanian on keyboards, I was like, ooh, keyboards, yay. Opened up the song and I was like, it sounds like a little bit like Led Zeppelin. I don't like the vocal tone, but there's one point in the song where his vocal tone turns into kind of like a heavy metal screamer. And had he kept that tone through the whole song, I think it would have carried a little different with me. The guitarist is really talented, and I'm surprised that a dedicated blues guitarist can do these kind of rock riffs. So that was interesting. These are really talented musicians, but to me, the song is kind of forgettable. Almost like each instrument was trying to be overly complicated rather than trying to find a cohesive, you know, move. It's not my style, so you probably shouldn't listen to my critique because this is outside of my window.
So this is a 70s song then. It is a 70s band. I thought it sounded like a 70s band, and that makes sense with the guitar solo because this guy isn't usually playing like hard banging licks. So I get it. Yeah.
Joe Bonamassa is like the world's biggest guitar collector.
Yeah.
So what was the score?
I'm giving it a 74.
74. So we heard it exactly the same. Nice. So there you go, Alex. Thanks for sending it in. I really enjoyed it. Okay, let's do some favorite songs. My favorite song, I Remember You, obviously, because it's fucking amazing. Song I would cut, Making a Mess, because it's just not that great. I would remove Rob Afuso from this band, and I would replace him with Travis Barker from Blink-182 to give this album
Travis Barker.
Harder,
good one.
Yes, harder hitting, more punk sound.
Wow.
Or we can just do the obvious Tommy Lee that I do every single week. Dave, answer the same questions for the listeners.
Was Travis Barker still in high school when this album came out?
No, he's fine.
Oh, okay. Favorite track, a lot of bangers on here. I'm going 18 in Life.
Okay.
I would cut no bad tracks really, but I guess Making a Mess. And I would ditch the drummer, Rob Afuso. He's great in the band, but kind of faceless. Would any casual Skid Row fan even know who this guy was if they saw him on the street? He's a fine drummer, but we're going to replace him. Despite being busy with LA Guns at the same time, he would probably look like one of their dads in Skid Row. I would nominate the pride of Revere, Massachusetts, Mr. Steve Riley.
No,
Nice.
Please don't put that ghoul in this band. He's fine. All right, Lisa, same questions.
Okay, hardest choice ever. I'm going to pick I Remember You as my favorite and putting every single other song on the album as number 2.
Nice.
I'm going to cut Midnight Tornado. I do like this song, but if I have to cut one, that's the one. But they have to then reorder the album because I Remember You can't be the last song because you can't leave people crying. If I have to replace someone, so they've already replaced Sebastian with Eric, which I think was the perfect replacement. It's already been done. So I'm going to replace Sebastian with Amy Lee from Evanescence.
Oh, cool. I like that. I'm going to switch mine to Midnight Tornado as well. Okay, so there you go. All right, awesome. Let's do some final thoughts. We'll score it, and we will end this. We will put this sucker to bed. So my final thoughts. I struggled with this, and here is why. Appetite for Destruction is a 100-watt album in any genre, any decade, anywhere, any conversation. Okay, that's it. This album definitely is not. But if I'm comparing it to hair metal albums from the 80s, it definitely is a 100-watt album and in the conversation for one of the best. So I think with it sounding a bit stuck in 1989, 98.89 watts is a fair and accurate score for this album. So that's 98, 89, 89, 89. What do you got?
Okay, so I have to also give a shout out to my favorite track that didn't make the album, but it does appear on the 30th anniversary deluxe edition called Forever. Killer song that was maybe too 80s to fit on the album proper, but I think they should have kept it on.
I have
It's a great song. Yeah.
Never heard it.
Go listen to it. You'll probably like it.
Oh, I will.
It's a great album overall. I like Slave to the Grind, but this one is my favorite. Glam Metal Skid Row is the best Skid Row. Total score 92.5.
Nice. Oh, this is ruh-roh, Lisa.
Oh God. I love this album. I'm always going to love this album. It's one of the few glam bands that I will listen to as a goth girl. I just want to make the statement. Anyone who is in the Sebastian camp for this band and doesn't think that, the rest of the band going on made sense, I challenge you to go back, listen again, listen to the new album, listen to them with Eric and with Lizzie, give them another chance. And remember, they wrote the album, they brought the music to you. And these are guys that love playing music. They love their fans. They do it because they love it. And they are just great, awesome people. And I think they deserve another listen from everyone.
There is no reason you can't be in both camps.
Yeah, totally.
Enjoy your Skid Row.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a hard one for me because I thought I was going to give this one 100. I'm giving it a 99.
Nice.
I'm giving it a 99 because Slave to the Grind is the 100.
Ooh.
So.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. I think you might be right. You might be right. I would have to listen to that album again, but
I did that to be sure. And I was like, Slave to the Grind is just a tiny bit better for me. So
I think you might be right. Okay, good. So let's add those scores up and you can tell us, how far in the lead this is.
Right. So on the Violent Vinyl album chart, Skid Row is exactly where it belongs at number 1 with a total score of 96.80, just above Faster Pussycat's debut 1987 album. And when I say just above, they're only off by about 4 points. So 96.8 for Skid Row and 92.3 for Faster Pussycat.
I would be curious to see where Appetite for Destruction, when we did that with the old show, what that score would have put that on this new list. I don't know.
If you have a second, I can check on that for you.
Sure. I'd be interested to see if it would have held up to number 1 over this album. I know I gave it 100 watts.
Total score on Appetite on the old show chart was 96.7. So actually
0.1
come in
below Skid Row where it belongs. Yep.
It would have been above Faster Pussycat, I hope.
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's perfect.
No, it's not.
The system works.
No, it doesn't. It's completely broken. We're going to redo Appetite. I'm going to pull some card where I can give it 150. Okay, we've gone long enough. Lisa, you've got the next pick. Why don't you tell us and the listeners what we will be listening to for the next 2 weeks?
So I really wanted to pick Slave for the Grind, but we're not going to do a back-to-back, so I'm going to skip that one for now.
We could.
I get another one. So I usually go off genre for you guys, and I usually bring you into some dark music that you've never heard. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to pick the debut 1989 self-titled album, Extreme, our local Boston boys. Oh, no. But it's got Nuno Bettencourt, one of my favorite guitarists.
Mine too. I love Nuno. I love Nuno. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. This is going to be great. I joke with you all. I'm a huge Extreme fan. So there you go. In next week on Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie? We will be reviewing Your Next, the slasher with Tony and his tales of terror. So that's it. Until next time, take the albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you later.